What if you were considered trash since childhood? If in the demonic cult you are nobody, just a disposable immaterial orphan? Shinjiobo was not looked down upon. He was used, constantly pushed to the brink of death, simply because they could. And it would seem that his story would end like hundreds of other nameless disciples. But one day the impossible happens. His own descendant from the future appears before him. And not just with a warning, but with technology that shouldn't exist in this world. A Nano Machine implanted directly into his body. And from that moment everything changes. The weak becomes dangerous. The hunted begins to hunt for himself. And the demonic cult still does not understand that they have created a monster. This is not just a story of revenge. It is the beginning of the rise of a man who will surpass the entire demonic cult. And he will become the greatest martial arts master. And believe me, this is just the beginning. This content is an original narrative retelling by the channel owner, created with a style, its own structure and focus. It does not reproduce the original material literally, and constitutes a transformative work. Billions of nanobots from the future are injected into a man's body. This marks the beginning of his invincible path to godhood. Just because I am the illegitimate son of a demonic sect leader and a maid, I have the right to be the heir. So even though I can't practice martial arts, the other heirs send the demon subjugation squad to assassinate me. In this desperate situation, I manage to kill one of them. This exceeds their expectations, but this makes the others torture me even more brutally. Just when I am seriously injured and about to die, the upper body of the person on top of me suddenly explodes. A man in strange clothes appears out of nowhere. In an instant, he kills all the enemies. He seems unable to stay here for long. He affectionately calls me ancestor. He injects an unknown liquid into my body. He begs me, his ancestor, to succeed, so that he, as a descendant, can benefit from it. After speaking, his figure disappears. This is the world of martial arts. Among the sects, there are some righteous ones that uphold justice. There are also heretical and evil sects. And there is the demonic path, which pursues domination and only worships power. The next day, I wake up startled in bed. My whole body is sticky, and there is a foul odor. A voice calling itself Heaven Collaborator, 7th generation nanobots, sounds in my ear. It has completely repaired my body. A huge amount of information floods my mind. I can't help but vomit. In this world of martial arts, I am equipped with 64.824 billion nanobots throughout my body. My half-brothers have always wanted to kill me. Now these mysterious nanobots in my body don't seem to be anything good. At that moment, my guard arrives with a doctor. I quickly lie down, pretending to be weak. The doctor approaches to take my pulse, but the result greatly surprises him. All the metabolic waste in my body has been expelled, and the circulation of my 8 extraordinary meridians has been activated. I don't understand what this means. This means that my body has become the most suitable constitution for practicing martial arts. It turns out that the nanobots have removed impurities from my body and adjusted my system to the ideal state. The demonic path has 6 major sects. The leader of the demonic cult takes the daughters of each sect as wives to have offspring. The offspring become successor candidates and enter the Demonic Path Academy at a certain age. The Demonic Path Academy opens once every 10 years, a period the demonic cult calls the successor battle. Seeing nothing abnormal in my body, the doctor only prescribes some medicine to restore vitality. As he leaves, he doesn't believe that a human body can undergo such miraculous changes. I, who originally couldn't even learn martial arts, am now no less qualified than the other young masters of the 6 main sects to reach this level. He speculates that the cult leader is secretly helping. I wash the dirt from my body, and then ask the nanobots what level they can restore my body to. Stab wounds or organ damage from external impact are immediately repaired. However, blood loss and amputated body parts require cell division to recover. So they take longer. Although I don't understand it, there's no harm in trying. I cut my hand and feel a tingling sensation. Indeed, the wound heals in an instant. Under the reconstruction of the nanobots, my body becomes more robust, as if it had accumulated external martial arts training. The name nanorobot is very difficult to pronounce, so I rename it Nano. Next, I go to the study to use other functions of Nano. I take out a book of knowledge. As my fingers flip through it, Nano completes the scan. It asks me if I want to transfer it to the user's brain. After accepting, a memory appears out of nowhere in my mind. I can immediately recite the content of the book from beginning to end. And it's not just memorization. I truly understand the content. Nano also automatically corrects errors in the book before transferring it to me. Doesn't this mean I can master things faster than anyone else? The members of the 6 main sects have learned various martial arts since childhood, but under their pact and surveillance, I have only learned Taoist breathing techniques. The Demonic Path Academy has the largest collection of martial arts books in the world. With this ability, I am confident I can get stronger, faster than anyone in the academy, and survive. At this moment, Mag from the demon subjugation sect discovers that I am not dead yet. He decides to kill me personally at the academy. Today is the day of admission to the academy. I'm so nervous I don't sleep all night. I'm thinking of secretly learning the Garhant short sword technique to defend myself. But before I die, my mother made a pact that I couldn't learn martial arts before entering the academy. If I learn secretly, the 6 sexes who monitor me will not allow it. At that moment, Nano asks me if I want to scan the training movements of the guard Hank. Is it possible to scan another person's movements and transfer them to my brain? Nano says that its program contains various martial arts data, and it can transfer them to me right now. But in the world of martial arts, stealing someone else's martial arts is taboo. There is no time to hesitate. At noon, I will have to enter the academy alone. I tell Nano to scan me. The scan takes about half an hour. Finally, all the movements are scanned. Nano begins to transfer them to the user's brain. I feel what is in my mind. This is truly outrageous. In fact, I directly learned the Garjank's short sword technique. I throw the sword. The movement is identical to Garjank's. After 20 years of practice, while practicing the scan movements, Nano analyzes the muscle fibers and the developed meridians. It asks me if I want to transfer these substances to the muscles of my body. Suddenly, a sharp pain shoots through my body. Nano explains that although my body has become familiar with the movements through simulation, the developed substances must be transferred to the muscles to execute the movements fully. The transfer will take approximately 1 hour and will be completed before entering the academy. I accept, but the next moment, unbearable pain makes me wish I were dead. Nano activates anesthesia mode, causing me to lose consciousness. Guard Hank is cooking for me in the kitchen. Before I die, my mother entrusted me to him. 5 years have passed and I have grown up. He prays that the lady's spirit will protect me and help me survive in the academy. At that moment, my screams reach his ears. Scared, he immediately comes to see what's wrong. He takes my pulse, but finds nothing abnormal. Then he notices the footprints I left earlier when using the short sword technique. He believes I've watched him train for 2 years at most, to achieve his 20 years of short sword practice just by observing him with the naked eye in 2 years. It's truly amazing. Once the substance transfer is complete, I wake up practicing the short sword technique. It shouldn't hurt now. I assisted with the sword to test it, although it's the same movement as before. It's more precise and powerful. What I just performed was the first form. Now it's a step pattern of the second form, even without cultivating internal energy. It leaves footprints like these. If Garhang sees this, it will be serious. At that moment, Garhang enters with food. I quickly move the table to cover the footprints. It's all my favorite food. I consume too much energy, so I start devouring the food just as I finish eating. Garhand asks me when I learned the sword technique. He looks at the table in front of him. The footprints are clearly exposed. I stutter, not knowing how to explain, but he congratulates me on doing well. He is my subordinate. If it weren't for the pact with the 6 main sects, he would have taught me long ago. He pulls out the internal energy cultivation method for the short sword technique, although he also wants to teach me internal cultivation techniques. The academy has many techniques superior to his. I can't help but cry. I have only cried twice in my life, when my mother died, and now I swear I will never shed tears again. Never doubt or be afraid again, even though my mother is no longer here. I still have a place to call home. Soon, the Demonic Path Academy will officially open its doors. All the sects of the demonic cult gather here. A figure on the elevated platform slowly advances. It is the left protector of the cult leader. The king calls Li Huan Yan. The weaklings below disappoint him. Those in the front row have quite a presence, even though they are the young masters of the 6 main sects. The plates with numbers 1 to 6 on their chests demonstrate their identity, but the 7th young master. I do not appear anywhere. Meanwhile, they tell me that my nameplate has disappeared, and that I have to wait here until they find it. Someone from the 6 main sects has undoubtedly manipulated it. They don't want to be in the same row as me. Those people have always wanted to kill me. I have survived their attempts and have come this far. I will become stronger and make them pay. Finally, with my identification plate, I can only stand at the back. The people in front whisper and point at me. I know what they're talking about without needing to listen, but let them talk. Lo Wamyang notices me at the back. Being relegated to the last row is quite amusing. The horn sounds announcing the arrival of the sect leader. Several powerful figures appear. The drunken right protector, Marek Yom, stumbles and collides with Lo Wamyang. He mocks Geoman for coming in such shabby clothes. Geotman belches and glares angrily at this red-haired person, the great protector of the underworld. King Marek Jian orders them to be quiet. The sect leader takes his seat. He is one of the 5 great masters of the martial world. The heavenly demon, leader of the divine cult, Chinyu Jian, and his powerful presence makes others unable to lift their heads. His deep internal energy makes his voice soft, but it reaches everyone. The brief entrance speech is over. The entire venue erupts in deafening cheers. As he leaves, he looks at me without looking back. He turns and leaves. We see each other for the first time. His gaze is so cold, but that is within my expectations. Next, the formal entry officially begins. The academic period is 4 years, with a total of 6 stages. The advancement exam for each stage can only be taken once. Students who fail the exam are eliminated on the spot. Number 2. Cheng Young, from the Sword Demon sect. He asks a question. Hua Mayang scolds him for not having the right to ask questions. Always arrogant. He immediately gets angry. Hua Mayang warns him that from the moment of entry, the privileges of the 6 main sects members and the sect disappear. Do you want to be eliminated before the succession battle begins? The other young masters laugh mockingly. He can only lower his head and apologize. However, Li Guamian knows what he wants to ask. Those who pass the exam and advance to the next stage receive 3 special rewards. The first reward is the demonic dragon orb. Absorbing its energy grants 20 years of internal power. I currently have no internal power. If I pass the exam, I could significantly increase my internal power in a short time. The second reward is secret martial arts manuals. Each time a stage exam is passed, 1 floor of the secret manual library opens. Based on performance, there will also be opportunities to learn the 6 main secret techniques of ACC, or their unique martial arts. Compared to internal power, obtaining the secret manuals is more urgent. The third reward is ranks and positions you have never had before. Not even these successor candidates have positions. This is a world where the strong prey on the weak. Fighting to ascend is the way to survive. Now to assign dormitories and equipment, the first phase of the exam begins. I am stunned. How can we proceed directly to the first phase exam without having learned anything? The first phase assesses basic aptitude, so having at least internal power is essential. Those who do not even have basic internal power will be assigned to minor trials at the lowest level of the sect. I understand that's why the ladies of the 6 main sects made me swear not to learn internal power. If I fail the exam, I will have the lowest status in the sect, and then they will definitely kill me openly. The heavenly demon, the divine cults, the 5th elder demon, the sound sect. Master Yan, so you appear. She is in charge of the first stage exam. The next moment, everyone nervously covers their ears. However, with a minimum of internal power, one can withstand her music for 15 minutes. Anyone who does not pass out from the music within 15 minutes passes the exam. As Jan plays the strings, the piercing music spreads rapidly, even with your ears covered. You can still hear it. Most of the unknown people in the middle have already collapsed. The successors, the candidates from the 6 main sexes, and the young masters of the upper sexes hold up well. They have consumed many miraculous elixirs since childhood and already possess considerable internal power. But Jan, you keep increasing the speed of your performance. Even they are having difficulties. Now, why is this happening? Jan Soyu doesn't understand why either. Why haven't I collapsed yet? I don't know what's happening either. Half the people in the field are lying on the ground. At that moment, Nano explains, it detected intense sound waves, high and low frequency. That could severely damage my body. Therefore, it activated the emergency defense mode to block the sound waves. It temporarily disabled the body's sensory organs to block external impact. Instead, it transmits the information directly to my brain. And so you, on the platform, you stare at me. I can't help but tremble. Li Huamian notices the 5th elder's agitated performance. He heard that I have no internal power, but now it seems that is not the case. Since becoming director of the academy, this is the first time he has seen such an interesting first phase exam. Many people are already bleeding from their ears. Sean Mujim also notices that something is wrong. He immediately thinks of me, who am at the back. The other young masters are drawn to his expression of fear. They turn around and see me standing upright. How is it possible? Why is someone without internal power unharmed? There is only one possibility. He has internal power. I can see that those people are angry. Nano begins to analyze their faces. These are the facial muscle states that appear when something absurd is felt. Surprise, annoyance, and anger. If I pass the exam without any damage. So no one will believe me. Even if I say I don't have internal power, I ask Nano if it can cause me internal injuries. Although it is possible, Nano does not recommend that I deliberately harm my own body. It's okay to suffer internal injuries and vomit blood when the performance is about to end. Almost 15 minutes have passed. That miserable person is persisting so calmly. Jan, your pride will not allow you to end like this. Let's see if he can withstand my performance with half my power. Sound waves at a level unbearable for others. Li Quan Myung hastily stops Jan's performance. So you. Only then does she come to her senses. Everyone except me has collapsed. Yuk Meng knows this. If it had continued a little longer, everyone would have been eliminated. The fifth elder of the sect has truly put on a show. Hang Soyu blames me. Me? Such a despicable being. It's all because I violated the pact of the 6 main sects and learned internal power. At that moment, Nano executes my previous order, and I start to vomit blood violently. Others don't know what's happening now. Nano's execution of my orders severely damaged my internal organs and caused maximum blood reflux. I almost think I'm going to die, and I can't help but call it madness. Blood keeps gushing out. After all, I am a descendant of the sect leader. If I die, it will be a problem. As an administrator, Li Guamian is responsible. Nano will carry out self-repair of the organs and increase the blood. I tell him not yet. Wait a little longer. Nano issues a warning of imminent death. Li Guamian checks what level my internal power is to have persisted this far, but the result greatly surprises him. In reality, I have no internal power. This person passed the first phase of the exam solely through willpower. He has the guards take me to the infirmary. I quickly ask Nano to cure me. Such powerful willpower if I weren't illegitimate. Lehua Mayang would want to take me as a disciple. Yu Meng learns that I held on thanks to my willpower and becomes interested in me. Lehua Mayang tells him to crawl back to his corner and drink his alcohol. A powerful killing intent radiates between the two. Yop Man doesn't want to waste time with him and turns to leave. Today's youth really have no willpower. Collapsing from that level of sound waves, that illegitimate son is exactly to his liking. I lie in the infirmary bed. Dr. Buck has never seen a patient who vomited so much blood from internal injuries alone. He approaches to take my pulse. I glance at him. Nano, the internal injuries have almost completely healed before reaching the infirmary. Although it still hurts, I have to endure until the treatment is finished. By the pulse, my internal injuries are indeed serious. He is thinking of using acupuncture on me. Suddenly, the door is kicked open. Yup Men calmly arrives at the infirmary. He asks me in a sinister tone why I'm pretending to be asleep, using only his internal power. He lifts my body. My body is paralyzed, as if immobilized. I can't move. Yup Men warns me that if I keep pretending to sleep, he will hit me in the face. Indeed, he discovers me. I ask him how he knew. A master of this protector's level can know your condition just by hearing your breathing. These rookies only have appearances. There isn't a single decent person among them. You, however, are quite decent, although I didn't hold steady by willpower either. Dr. Buck reminds him that treating me is more important. I cough up another mouthful of blood. Jude Meng sees that my comprehension is really bad, as if a warm current is flowing through my body, restoring some strength to me. Now Jude Meng gets to work. Boy, I'll take you as my disciple. Dr. Buck and I are stunned. He takes 2 more sips of wine. I ask him if he doesn't know who I am, but everyone on the demonic path knows me. If I accept you as a disciple, the people of the 6 main sects will hate you. How ridiculous. If this protector wants to take a disciple, what can those people do? This is a perfect opportunity for me, but it could also be a trap. Yukmen sees that I am very suspicious. It's understandable, given the life I've led. Then I will make you a tempting proposal. Yukmen bangs something on the nightstand. It seems you don't care at all about falling behind, even though you survived the first phase exam through your willpower. Can you really pass the second phase without internal power? Staying in the infirmary for 14 days means falling far behind everyone else. Even if Nano can heal me immediately, if I don't want to arouse suspicion, I have to stay here for now. There are other people besides me who have also suffered internal injuries, but they can circulate internal energy to heal, so they don't need the infirmary. No wonder I'm the only one here, because I don't know how to circulate internal energy. Suddenly, I have a flash of inspiration and remember something. Those who pass the first stage exam receive the demonic dragon ore, and they can use the first floor of the secret manual library. The Academy's secret manual library is not a place that can be entered freely. Each time a stage exam is passed, it can only be used once for 1 hour. And nothing can be copied. Everything must be memorized. In 1 hour, you can memorize at most 2 books, but this is a great advantage for me. With the nano scanning capability, I can scan almost 100 books in an hour. My starting point is different from others. Basically, everyone learned their sexual martial arts before entering the academy. To survive the threat of the 6 main sects, should I become a disciple of the right protector? Is the paper next to my bed an internal cultivation technique? You guessed it. If you become this protector's disciple, I will immediately start teaching you internal cultivation techniques. I get up shakily from bed. I kneel heavily on the floor. I will take the right protector as my master. Please accept this disciple's bow. Yuk Men lifts me up. He tells me that the Chen family does not need to bow 3 times and kowtow 9 times to anyone, except for the sect leader. Before I come back next time, memorize the internal cultivation technique. First, I'm leaving now. Remember to take good care of my disciple. Dr. Beck and I look at Jot Meng's back, somewhat speechless. After Nano, and now the right protector. Special opportunities keep appearing around me. Guardian Mother Han at the academy, where enemies surround me. For the first time, someone is on my side. Those who pass the first stage exam are cultivating internal power in the large training ground. The chief instructor of the academy reports that a total of 415 people have passed the exam, about 200 less than the previous generation. As expected, Elder Hang, the music technique was too excessive. Some eliminated are unhappy. Then subdue all who resist and expel them from the demonic path. This is the destiny of the weak. Among those who passed the first stage exam, many are quite capable. Elder Hang, the sound waves were imbued with half his power, but they didn't affect them. This means they have cultivated at least 60 years of internal power. This succession battle will be very interesting. The next day, the academy distributes bronze badges, symbolizing the lower warriors of the cult. In the academy, it is forbidden to answer yes or no to any instructor, including this director. Only demonic path can only be answered. Understood. All students answer in unison demonic path. Then let's start dividing into groups. Dr. Bach has prepared all the materials. Now the treatment officially begins. Nano detects someone trying to damage the user's body from the outside with sharp iron needles. Switching to emergency defense mode. Non-stop. Can't you distinguish between attack and treatment? Fortunately, emergency defense mode stopped in time. I tell Nano that in the future it doesn't need to react to anything I voluntarily accept. After acupuncture, my stomach feels a little better. Nano lists detailed information according to my understanding. Suddenly, an idea strikes me. I ask Nano if it can heal me first, but prevent the doctor from noticing when he takes my pulse. Nano says it can freely alter the pulse during the examination. If so, I can spend time learning internal cultivation with the right protector. Keep treating me, Nano. At this moment, the groups have been assigned, and the next exam is explained. To participate in the second phase exam and become a supreme warrior, you must be familiar with basic tactics and combat strategies. You only have 21 days. This is undoubtedly a great challenge for ordinary people. There are a total of 20 groups in the competition. 3 weeks later, only 10 groups will be able to advance to the next phase. Starting tomorrow, the instructors in front of you will kindly teach you tactics and combat strategies. Everyone remembers the scene where those who resisted were knocked out and dragged away, and they tremble. After the end of the session is announced, everyone leaves. Only Cheng Guozhang remains. Dao Group 8. He tells the instructor that student number 7 in the group has gone to the infirmary. He doesn't want the entire group to be eliminated in the group exam due to the lack of one member. So he wants to tell student number 7 what they heard today. If that miserable person is grouped with me, I will break his bones myself. The instructor praises his good attitude. It seems he already understands the essence of the group exam. This instructor will actively consider student number 3's opinion and personally go to the infirmary to inform student number 7. Chen Mujiang says he can go himself. There is no need for so much fuss. Do you think students can freely enter and leave the academy? Even if he says he is a demon, a subjected sex successor candidate, it won't work in this place. Then I leave it to you, instructor. In that case, I will wait until he returns to his quarters before acting. I will make you feel unbearable pain and beg to be killed. The instructor is surprised to learn that I need 14 more days of treatment. He hopes that the group he is responsible for will not be eliminated because of that one person. At this moment, I am already asleep. The instructor plans to return tomorrow. First thing in the morning, a black shadow appears and kicks my door open. Jiak Meng laughs heartily. Your master has arrived. Next, a deep belch of wine. Aren't you going to greet your master? I awkwardly greet my master. He asks me if I have memorized yesterday's internal cultivation technique. Good thing, I had transferred it beforehand. Yat Meng was just being unreasonable to provoke me. He didn't expect me to memorize it right after suffering a serious injury. I don't understand why he came so early in the morning. Yat Meng explains to me that he only has 14 days to teach me. Once I return to the dormitory, it will be difficult for him to continue seeing me at the academy. At this moment, security is lax and it will not attract attention. After all, learning martial arts from anyone other than an instructor is forbidden within the academy. I thought he was unreasonable, but now it seems he is quite considerate of me. There is no time to waste. Let's start right now. Turn around quickly and sit on the floor. However, man also sits down. He places his hand on my back. In fact, he is going to directly infuse cultivation techniques, an energy circulation method into my body. I have never heard of this method. It is a brilliant method created by your master's master. Remember to grit your teeth and scream, attracts the guardian warriors. It's over. A deep internal power flows into my body. Nano detects invisible energy, entering the body through the user's life gate. The acupuncture point begins to consult the embedded data for analysis. It is presumed that the energy that repeatedly circulates through specific acupuncture points is. And I know that the master is using powerful internal energy to forcibly open my blocked acupuncture points. But it is too painful. The master marvels, have I really not practiced anything? So why can the 14 meridians circulate internal energy without obstacles? To practice techniques, the muscles and meridians are also sufficient. Did the sect leader really intervene? Among the 7 ladies, the one he truly loves the most is Lady Q. This person was born from her. Perhaps he tried in secret. With this qualification, 7 days are enough to generate internal energy in the danshin. At the same time, at the academy, in the student dormitories, all groups are competing for the leader's position. The boys and the demonic sects. The young master was defeated by someone from the simple superior heaven sect. There is no distinction of status here. A world where the strong prey on the weak. Since I won, I will be the leader of Group 12. The master finally completes the infusion of the energy circulation method. This is the most suitable method for me, who knows nothing about internal power. The goal is to generate internal power in your danshin in 7 days. Seeing the master's exhausted appearance, it seems that he too has consumed a lot of internal power. I sincerely thank the master for his effort. This disciple will definitely succeed. You can even say things like that. How strange. Reflect and continuously contemplate the unlimited heavenly techniques, the breathing method and energy, the circulation route. I'm leaving now. Take good care of your body. He is the 3rd person in this world to make me feel warmth. I will definitely cultivate internal power in 7 days. The next day, all students gather in the large training ground. Just as Leh Guamian expected, the young masters of the 6 main sects became leaders of their respective groups. None of the instructors were in the barracks. On the first day, they tacitly allowed them to compete freely for leadership. Suddenly, he notices an anomaly. The leader of Group 12 is actually the unknown student number 18. He dared to touch the holders of the black plates who could become successors. He seems like someone with strength and courage. The chief instructor announces that, starting today and for 7 consecutive days, mornings will be dedicated to learning combat tactics and theory in the auditorium. Afternoons will be dedicated to formation training in this large training ground. Now form 5 rows and head to the auditorium. The young master of the poisonous demon sect, Qin Yong, is still furious about last night's defeat. A voice mocks him, calling him a fool besides poisonous attacks. Doesn't the poisonous demon sect have anything impressive? Simply do minor work for lower-ranked sects. Qin Yong, accustomed to being dominant, has never suffered such humiliation. That wretch from the Haben Sikken sect is called Back Jai right. You can enjoy playing the leader by yourself. I will make you regret being in the same group as me. And Knights Group 8. Instructor Lin Tiang praises Chinwo Jung for his excellent control during formation training. By the way, student number 7 needs to be hospitalized for 14 days. So this instructor has to reteach today's lesson to student number 7. Chinwo Jung kicks open the group's dormitory door. He doesn't believe that person needs to be hospitalized for 14 days. It's absolutely false. He is undoubtedly pretending. Just thinking about that damned low-born bastard lying there comfortably makes him clench his teeth in rage. A lackey by his side quietly suggests a plan. It fits Chinmo Yon like a glove. 4 days pass in the blink of an eye, and the infirmary finally receives a new patient. A student from Group 8 was injured during a real sword training session and presents severe bleeding. The treatment finishes quickly, although the meridians were not damaged. The wound is deep. Only 3 days of hospitalization are needed. Damn it. Why do members of my group keep having problems? It looks like an accident. Reporting is inevitable. At night, the injured student gets up quietly. He takes the doctor's scalpel. First, I'll make sure you can't walk. I have no choice. Do it. Don't blame me. However, the next second, a violent electric current runs through the man's body. He quickly loses consciousness, just as expected. When the man opens his eyes again, he is already tied up. A hand draws back the curtain. It's me, Baldy. He heard that I suffered very serious internal injuries. But why do I seem unharmed now? I show him a mirror to see his bald head. Only then does he realize that he can no longer feel his hair moving. He writhes and twists on the bed. Agonizing, I punch him in the face. I cover his mouth. Your mouth is covered. What are you still muttering about? How do you think I've survived this long? From time to time, I encounter assassins full of murderous intent. Like you, since you intend to joke about this, you should know how painful it is to be stabbed. No, hurry up and tell me who ordered you to do this. I remove the cloth from his mouth, but he says he doesn't know what I'm talking about. He knows I can't kill him in the infirmary. At the academy, except during training or formal duels, you cannot harm others under any circumstances. What can you do to me? Then let's see if you'll talk. I put the rag back in his mouth. I pick up Dr. Bex's surgical instruments. My previous quarters didn't have so many nice things. You look terrified. I open his fingers one by one. This will hurt you a little. Try to endure. The long needle pierces completely through his nails. 10 fingers connected to the heart. It's no joke, don't try to appear calm. Now just one hand. Done. This guy has already fainted twice. How about we try the right hand now? He shakes his head frantically. Ready to talk now. Why didn't you say so earlier? He knows that if he continues to resist, he will be crippled, even if he doesn't die. I ask him directly if Mo-young didn't send him. He must be curious how I know. Thanks to the excellent care of group leader Moon. Every morning, the martial arts instructor comes to give me lessons. He has explained to me in detail what group I am in and who the members are. You are student number 23. Jabung. Right. Jabung doesn't know who has been spreading rumors. That I am trash. This boy is a monster. He just hasn't shown his fangs because he currently lacks power. Jabung swears fearfully that he won't tell anyone what just happened. Please don't be angry anymore. I channel internal energy into my fingers. I seal his aku points. He doesn't understand who said I have absolutely no internal energy. This guy has deceived everyone. At dawn, Yuck-men goes to look for his beloved disciple again. He didn't expect the day to come so soon to give that boy that thing. After completing cultivation yesterday at dawn, this boy managed to generate internal energy in Sudentian. And that was after only 5 days. Normally, it takes at least 2 or 3 weeks without talent. You might not even achieve it in a month. This boy has far exceeded Jokman's expectations. It seems the plan needs to be changed. He takes out the demonic dragon orb, which, when absorbed correctly, can increase internal energy by 20 years. The pill still stinks greatly, with the master's maximum help to reduce medicinal loss. I can gain the full 20 years of internal energy. This way, maybe I can finally stand on my own 2 feet. Then the master notices that there is another unconscious person nearby. I explain that this person deliberately injured himself to come and assassinate me, and that by daring to do something like that in the Demonic Path Academy infirmary. He should know that he will have to leave the academy once this is discovered. Someone must have ordered him to do it, promising him that they would back him up. I indicate that he is the boy from my group's demon subjugation sect. That family is almost entirely full of brutal troublemakers. Your life has not had a single quiet day. Boy, it's okay. I'm used to it. Master suddenly seals. I hit the acupuncture points hard again. He explains that acupuncture points sealed with less than a year of internal energy will automatically release in a few hours. To properly seal acupuncture points, at least 10 years of internal energy or more are needed. Understood. Next, he urges me to quickly swallow the demonic dragon orb. Can it really be swallowed directly? Remember to chew it completely before swallowing to absorb the medicinal effects. To make it more effective, this stinky pill looks like it's going to be very bitter, as expected. It tastes extremely bitter and suffocating, so bitter that it numbs my tongue. So disgusting that I want to spit it out. Swallow them quickly. Sit cross-legged and adopt the energy circulation posture of the unlimited heavenly technique. Now, the master will help you properly absorb the demonic dragon orb. I'm counting on you. Master Nano detects a substance flowing into the body that helps activate energy. Do you agree to promote metabolism and absorb the substance? Although I don't understand, should it mean it will help absorb spiritual medicine? I agree. Nano begins to promote metabolism within the body. This completely surprises Joke Meng. This boy possesses an innate martial body at most. Only about 80% of the medicinal effect can be absorbed. However, it seems I have absorbed it all. My internal energy is increasing. This is truly a disciple I cannot take lightly. Afterward, who knows how long it takes for the sun to rise. I finally complete the absorption. The master asks me how I feel about the internal energy increasing. This time has also been quite exhausting for him. You have obtained half a cycle of internal energy with this boy. If other students can absorb half of the demonic dragon orb on their own, it is considered a success. I know what this means. Thank you, master. Please accept this. Disciples bow. Gel. Meng laughs and says, it is destiny. My destiny is you, Nano. Thank you. Nano coldly replies that helping his master is a programmed task within him. At this hour, the master should leave. I call him and ask if I can learn his unique martial art tomorrow. The butterfly dance, the sword technique. Of course, you barely have time to learn during the rest of your hospital stay. Boy, prepare to train hard. At dawn, all students gather in the large training ground. Chan knew him, I can't help but laugh. Thanks to your plan, he yawned, that low-born wretch should already have his meridian severed, writhing like a worm. My whole body itches. I want to rip off the face of that guy crawling on the ground. Dr. Bach in the infirmary. He is already laughing his head off. How did you lose all your hair overnight? How? Because of the guy next to him. He can't get angry. Dr. Buck wipes away his tears as the curtain is drawn. Then he notices that I remain silent. He knows something happened last night. However, the chief doctor of the Demonic Path Academy only has to focus on treating illnesses and cannot question anything else. 2 days later, Jobin returns to the barracks of Group 8. Chinmo Jian finds it strange. Shouldn't you have been expelled? Jobin explains that my internal injuries were too severe. The doctor was treating me all night. The doctor doesn't sleep at night. You're not making excuses, are you? Following your orders, I moved at dawn, but the doctor was also awake. Chen Boon becomes enraged. How can a doctor's ears be so sharp? You damn idiot. Can't you even do this right? Jia Ha-Yun asks the young master to wait. She asks Yo Ban if he knows the doctor's name. I've heard it's Bak Zhang Mayung. Jia On remembers that name. He should be the disciple of the medical demon Bak Zhang Wu, who came from the poisonous demon sect. But he aspired to medicine and became the chief doctor of the sect leader. Although he is a doctor, his martial arts cultivation places him among the top 30 in the Demonic Path Academy. As he is a disciple of that person, his martial arts must be exceptional. Damn it, sending this boy was a waste of time. So damn idiot, don't expect me to support your sect. It was Chinmo Jian who initially sought out Eben to do this. He promised him that no matter what happened, even if he was expelled, he would unconditionally support that weak sect. If Chinmo Jian had kept his promise, he had planned to tell everything truthfully. Continue your tantrum when that guy arrives. Let's see if he's still so arrogant. Chinwu Jem rips Iban's hair tie off. As he looks in the reflection, another brutal beating follows him, although others find it unpleasant. They feel powerless due to his Chen family lineage, tired of hitting him. Chinwu Jem leaves Iban lying on the floor like a beaten dog. He sobs as he curses Chinwu Jem and me to die. At that moment, I asked Dr. Buck if he knew martial arts or something like that. But he knows nothing. He only studied medicine. In the blink of an eye. It's Mao's hour. 7 days later, I practice the butterfly shadow steps with the proper form. The master is even more convinced that I am a genius among 10,000. He only taught me the butterfly shadow step a few times and slightly corrected my posture. I didn't expect to achieve a correct posture and natural movements. Thanks to the nano scan, the master's posture, I can reproduce it perfectly. But if I did it from the beginning, it would seem suspicious to him. So I have to go a little slower. The butterfly dance sword technique has 24 forms. 3 forms make up one movement. Building the base took a long time, so he didn't get to teach me how to connect them. 7 days is really very little. Very well, you have practiced. Well, here are the movements of the butterfly dance sword technique and the method for applying internal energy. Although the master wants to teach it to you personally, today is the last day. With your intelligence and comprehension, you should be able to grasp the fundamentals. I'll check it next time we meet. Don't neglect practice. Okay, thank you. Master, this disciple will not disappoint your expectations. This is the master's wild dance sword. Take a look. A normal sword weighs between 2 and 3 yin. Our prized wild dance sword weighs less than 1.5 yin. It's because of the butterfly dance sword technique. Truly exceptionally ingenious. The master cuts off the bed leg with a single blow. It's really sharp. Although the sword is light, it was forged for a whole season. It's called a prized sword precisely because it's so sharp and durable. Haven't you always been curious? Let me show you. Watch carefully. This is the master's butterfly dance sword technique. I call Nano. Get ready to scan. Ready? Yuk Meng leaves quietly. The great guardian tells Labamian, it was difficult to pretend not to know anything all this time, considering whose orders they were. How dare I disobey? The infirmary should now restore its original guardian warriors. But for now, Lawamian still doesn't understand. What is the reason for caring so much about the 7th young master? Because that's what's fair. Is it because both the palms and the backs of the hands are flesh? The great guardian reminds him not to question the master. Truly worthy of being the wind god, he disappeared in an instant without a trace. That said, after only 14 days, will it really be fair? Dr. Beck looks at me a little puzzled. Normally at this hour, I'm already awake. Why am I still sleeping today? That's right. After all, this is the last chance to relax and rest. Sleep as much as possible. Nano has converted the muscle fiber quality to 80% and the meridian conversion to 75% since Joke Meng used the butterfly dance sword technique. The estimated time to complete it is half an hour. Half an hour later, Dr. Bach is startled awake by my presence. He rushes to check what happened. At that moment, my whole body is trembling, and I am vomiting uncontrollably. He quickly takes my pulse. What's going on? How can someone who sleeps peacefully have such a pulse? The pulse beats wildly, as if overloading the body. Nano begins to stabilize the body. The adverse reaction within the body during conversion. And transfer. Dr. Beck is baffled. How is it possible that the condition has stabilized so suddenly? The master never mentioned this situation. Let him sleep better and eat first. Afterward, who knows how long it will take me to wake up. My grip strength is completely different from 3 hours ago. I think I know now how hard the master trained. If he knew I had reached this level of physical condition in just 3 hours, he would probably faint. The master can create such powerful wind pressure with movements alone, even without using internal energy. Nano has also completed the scan. Thank you, Master, for teaching me everything. Returning to the Demonic Path Academy will be difficult from now on. Don't give up. It seems there is at least one person in this academy who cares about me. At this moment, Nano has completed the analysis of the scan movements. It is estimated that completing the conversion will take 3 hours. This is also the reason for everything that just happened. It feels completely different. I just practiced one move of the butterfly sword technique, exactly like the master's. Now for the second move. Then I clearly perceive something unusual. Someone is approaching down the hallway. It could be that with the body conversion, my senses have also sharpened. The grand preparations have concluded. Now the person in the hallway enters, so the movement I perceived was that of Dr. Beck. I put on my identification plate. Dr. Beck laments that there were no patients from the beginning and now. Even I am leaving. What will he do with his boredom? Don't worry, there will be many soon. I have caused you trouble during this time. If the doctor hadn't turned a blind eye when I learned martial arts from the right guardian, it would have been very uncomfortable the entire time in the infirmary. I will not forget all the care you have given me. I will definitely send you the patients the doctor wants. My body has recovered. I go back to training. The martial arts instructor gives me my equipment and tells me to rejoin. Chin Mujum looks at me with disdain, mocking me for being so scared that I was trembling. So I'm only coming now. Disgusting. He doesn't finish the sentence because I ignore him completely. Don't get too excited too soon. Chia Mujum, I will soon have a proper fight with you. Real sword combat training begins. Now, if another accident occurs, the instructor will use all his strength to expel people from the demonic path valley. Although Chamium is arrogant and brutal, he has the bearing of a successor candidate. To prevent him from making mistakes, the instructor places me in the position that requires the least movement, but contrary to his imagination. In fact, I can keep up. Well, the instructor orders to maintain formation and posture. 15 minutes later, some people are already starting to have difficulties. The instructor finds it strange that the boys who trained earlier are like this. Why am I, who was in the infirmary for so long, still perfectly fine? He orders a change in formation. Chun Mujin gives the order with all his might, forming a semicircle as if surrounding the enemy. Advance half a step. Take long strides. I can perfectly follow the rhythm of the orders. Chin Mag is annoyed. Why am I not making mistakes? He cannot tolerate me with my tainted bloodline. You are doing well. He quietly calls his lackey, Ha Yon, and orders him to do what was instructed during the third formation. 15 minutes later, the formation changes again. Build shields. Thanks to the nano entry simulation videos, I do it easily. Shield formation. Build. They are real swords inserted between the shields. Ha Yon silently assesses him from behind. The buttocks are clearly visible. Those from the tainted bloodline should be crawling on the ground, but I turn slightly. Dodging his foot, I return his gaze. I didn't expect him to notice. Things have come to this. I can only kick with all my might. I defend myself with internal energy and push him hard. I turn around and smile. Instantly, he becomes enraged. The instructor is also angry. You again, the one who stabbed student number 23 last time was also you. Right, this guy has gone crazy. Your 3 days off until bedtime are canceled. You will undergo hellish supplementary training with this instructor. Try to argue and leave. The others have long been unhappy with him, doing all sorts of bad things. Leaning on Cheng Wu Yung and hearing these mocking voices, Cheng Wu Yung's hatred towards me intensifies. Li Quan Mayan observes all this calmly. My internal energy is deeper than he imagined, although someone of the right guardian level taught me. It is still strange. It cannot be that Yatman, that guy who loves to get drunk, taught well. Could this guy possess the talent to completely absorb the demonic dragon orbs? The medicinal effects, even with only half the bloodline. A tiger father has no dogs. Those 2 successor candidates from the same group are at a stalemate. Things are going to get more and more interesting. The afternoon training ends. The instructor announces mealtime. I have eaten unseasoned porridge for 14 consecutive days. And finally, I eat tasty food again, but speaking of which, that guy intends to glare at me throughout the meal. Although I don't know why he only hates me, I will not forgive the 6 main sects either. You don't know what it feels like to watch your mother die before your eyes without being able to do anything. From now on, I will trample all of you after dinner. Today's program is over. Except for Ha-Yon, the rest of the group can withdraw. Group 8 accommodation. It's room number 8 on the first floor. Then a voice calls me. Without my permission. Chenwo Jian, where do you think you're going? This guy really doesn't deviate from my expectations. Carrying calluses everywhere, wanting to be the master wherever you go. All attention is focused on Chenmu Jian. Demonic sound. Sex successor candidate. Chenwon Ryan is no exception. Chung Wajang sees many people gathered about to start. He steps forward, insulting me as a guy with a tainted bloodline. Did you have a good time hiding in the infirmary like a coward? Why are you angry? Tainted bloodline. I reply by asking him if he is insulting the sect leader. He is momentarily stunned, not understanding what I mean. You say I have a tainted bloodline. Isn't that insulting the sect leader? Insulting our sect leader, whose position is as high as the sky. Is your position higher than the sky? These words cause the spectators to argue among themselves. I originally wanted to despise and crush him in front of everyone. I didn't expect to win the match. Chenwonryo mocks the demon subjugation. The members of the sect are really stupid. The successor of the sword demon sect, the candidate, shares the same opinion. In getting angry at a low-born wretch, Jianmo Jian, he can't hold back anymore. I will tear that arrogant mouth off your face. I punch him hard in the face. Jianmo Jai looks surprised and falls to his knees. I imitate his cough and ask him what he means. Low-born wretch, how dare you? Jianmo Hem shoots violently, hitting with the empty fist of demon subjugation. But I dodge it by moving aside. I stabilize myself and land to the side, and immediately fly out. How come that low-born wretch knows the lightness technique? Jinmayim orders his subordinates to quickly catch that guy, who dares to attack me first, and then flee. If I let you go like this, I'm not human. I use my lightness skill speed, neither fast nor slow, maintaining just the right distance so they don't catch me while I flee. Jinmayim catches up angrily, scolding his subordinates for dawdling. Get out of the way. Slow. I'll catch you. I'll trample your face and tear you to pieces. I run for a while, maintaining the same speed as Chan Muhyang, and I stop at the right moment. Damn guy. He's not running anymore. Run. How ridiculous. There's no need for that. Still, Chan Muhyang is caught off guard. Receive this blow, and although he uses 70% of his power to defend himself, he is still pushed back. Only then does he understand that my power is considerable. But how does this boy know this kind of martial art? During the first stage exam, he had no internal energy at all. What is happening now? Good as expected, he is scared and panicked. So let's take advantage of it. Butterfly dance, sword technique, second move, return, origin, butterfly alert. Contrary to my expectations, he actually dodged it. Jian Mujin starts to gather power. A strong punch hits me. Demon subjugation. Empty fist. Second move. Striking force. Another elbow strike hits me. This makes me realize that my internal energy is still slightly inferior to his. It seems that boy had more internal energy than normal students before entering the academy. And now he has also taken the demonic dragon orb. His internal energy must have increased considerably. I cannot give him a chance to counterattack. I must attack relentlessly. I use the foot technique, butterfly shadow, to appear at his side. The others can only see some afterimages, but this blow misses. Chung Woo Yung quickly counterattacks with a knee strike. He sees that although my movements flow like water, I have no idea how to respond to an opponent's attacks. Although I am not qualified to use the technique correctly. In fact, that intimidated him. In fact, it's obvious it was hasty. Jinmo Jian mocks me for being all appearance and no substance. I only learned 2 sword moves, and my combat experience is insufficient. He realized everything. I underestimated Jinbo Jian too much. I didn't expect the difference in combat experience to be so great. Jinbo Jian plans to first trample and torment me, and then slowly interrogate me about how I train in martial arts. Nano detects external threats to respond to threats, activating eye-opening in users. Visual information, augmented reality, activating action instruction mode through combat guidance. The next second, I dodge a charged blow. A heavy fist hits Kai and Muhim. Even I am stunned. What I just used is not a sword technique at all. What is this exactly? Nano coincidentally guided me using boxing, one of the self-defense martial arts incorporated into the program, which means analyzing the opponent's actions and producing results in 0.01 seconds. Although I don't fully understand, Can the butterfly dance sword technique be used instead of boxing? Is a complete analysis and transfer guide available? Do you agree? I agree. The wretch who learned boxing will not be so lucky. Now Nano receives action instructions, replacing the boxing defense mode with the butterfly dance technique. I can clearly see where and how he will attack. I easily dodge Chinmoyam's fist. Now it's my turn to counterattack. Using the palm as a sword, I strike Chinmoyam's body hard. He remembers painful memories of the past. Mohiam, as long as you work hard enough, your father will pay attention to me again. And stop worrying about that disgusting slut. You must win at everything. Understood? Mother, it's all because you are useless. If that disgusting bitch hadn't appeared, it's not my fault. It's all because you didn't do well. It's all because you are worthless. Just now, these damned memories come to mind. Am I going to lose? Am I really going to lose like this? Do you think I'm going to lose to a low-born wretch like you? I grab his head and smash it hard against the ground. He can no longer resist. This is all your fault. If the second phase exam had not been conducted in small groups, I would have already smashed his head in. I don't want to waste time talking to Chung-Wo Jung. I'm leaving directly. Without Nano, it would have been dangerous. I would have lost. Although I learned martial arts quickly, experience is not something that can be underestimated. To reach a high level requires internal energy and experience. First, I need to clearly know how to use what I have. I call Nano and ask how many of its functions I have used so far. Nano replies based on the built-in records. It has never exceeded 30%, which means there are many more functions worth using. Nano asks if you want to transfer the detailed function manual of the 7th generation nanobots to the brain, for ease of understanding. In addition, it will transfer English from the integrated language learning program. Go ahead. I accept everything. The enormous amount of information causes a sharp pain in my brain. Good. Let's start looking for functions. Can you do all these things? Nano, like the simulation function that allows repeatedly practicing with others in augmented reality. With this, I can compensate for my lack of experience. Nano explains that simulation requires analyzing movement data related to the opponent's actions. Although the analysis data on Jinmojum just now is insufficient, a virtual character can be created based on combat records. Okay, let's try it now. Nano activates eye-opening in the user's visual information. Augmented reality. Before activating the virtual character, adjust the simulation data and the percentage of impact that the virtual character inflicts on the user. Set it to 100%. The next moment, the virtual character uses Chinmom's arrogant tone. Vina for me, low-born wretch. Why did it simulate his disgusting attitude too? Since it's a virtual character, I will undoubtedly smash its head. The virtual Chinmom Jian launches an attack. Demon Subjugation, Empty Fist. 5th move, Demon Subjugation, Strength Training. In fact, it perfectly reproduced the move from before. Dodge this blow. The hand strikes with all its might, but I still dodge it. Jinmo Yom mocks you for thinking that attacking so recklessly will work. His punch sends me flying. Nano uses internal nanobots to reproduce the same impact intensity. Based on the pain data I just experienced. Do you wish to readjust the impact intensity? I am somewhat annoyed. Respond, forget it. Just continue like this, low-born wretch. Vina for me, you damned fellow. Always so annoying. You are nothing more than a virtual character. After who knows how long, I lay on the ground exhausted. Nano tells me it's time. I only fought 15 times. I won the last one. The first duel I lost in just 5 seconds. If the virtual character is at this level, fighting the real Chinmajim, I would probably lose overwhelmingly. Nano's data shows that my usage rate of flexible movement variations and butterfly dance, sword technique during repeated combat is increasing. But what's the use if that boy has only used 3 moves back and forth? If I've only beaten him once, you'll see. In 7 days, I will easily defeat Chinmajim, the spiritual character. I return to the barracks. The others deliberately avoid me. I just defeated a successor candidate, and they automatically make way for me. Jobin suddenly approaches enthusiastically to greet me. In a fawning manner, he tells me where the bed is. The others don't understand why he's acting like this. I also notice that his attitude has changed compared to before. Could it be that he wants to get something from me? Jobin understands that Chung-Wo Jung has abandoned him. There is no way out anymore. Either way, it's death. Better to fight desperately. I, student number 23, Yo Ban, wish to serve young master Cheng Yang Jun, and I pledge my service. The others unanimously think that Ao Ban has gone mad by swearing allegiance to the powerless 7th young master. I'm also momentarily bewildered. Yo Ban deeply regrets the previous incidents. Allow me to become your subordinate and serve you loyally. Become a subordinate to me, who has never easily trusted others since childhood. Unlike Guard Hank, appointed by the sect leader, someone volunteers to be my subordinate. It's time to start building my own forces. I nod in acknowledgement. Iyaban is instantly overjoyed. He swears to be loyal to me until death at that moment. A shrill voice is heard. Gideon reprimands the useless worm harshly. Who are you swearing allegiance to? Jabon trembles in fear, but knows he cannot back down under any circumstances. I ask him how he dares to call someone else, a subordinate, a worm. You are the one who trails behind others. Worms are the rears. Hiahia roars angrily, in a low voice, low-born wretch. I easily dodge the punch he throws at me. I counterattack with a blow, knocking him to the ground. Compared to the virtual character, he is nothing. Yevon is convinced that his choice was the right one. I gesture to Chinmayim to ask him if he wants to try again. Enjoy it to your heart's content. Even with such an insignificant subordinate, nothing changes. The others cannot believe it. The brutal Chinmayim has lost in this confrontation, but the sex power to subjugate demons remains intact. Right, perhaps I can really restore the heavenly demon, the divine cult, to its former glory. 7 days later, the day of the second stage exam as previously established. The 4 adjacent groups draw lots to determine their opponents. First, groups 1 to 4 step forward. Curiously, groups 2 to 4 have changed leaders. Only group 1 still has the dark demon Chinmo Young. Li Huang Yang sketches a meaningful smile. The draw ends quickly. Group 1 versus Group 3. Group 2 versus Group 4. Next, groups 5 to 8 step forward. Curiously, 2 leaders of these 4 groups have also changed. A situation has arisen that exceeds Li Wan Mayung's expectations. The leader of Group 8 has changed, and now it is me. Chung Wan Ryung sees me and knows something is wrong. It is evident that he had already warned me. Chung Wajang like that the previous day after training ended. Cheng Wu Yom observes, although he continues to lead the group's training, thinking to himself how foolish these are. They haven't thought at all that their strategies will be completely exposed. There's nothing better to watch. Go practice martial arts. Cheng Wan Ryo calls him. Cheng Wu Yom looks at her, irritated, ignoring her. He turns to leave, but Cheng Wan Ryo blocks his path. He is annoyed. What are you doing? I thought a lot before calling you. Do you have to be like this? Chenmo Ho Yoon still remembers when she said, demon subjugation. Insects are nonsense. He doesn't want to talk to her. Really irritating. In that case, let's be brief. Chenmo Ho Yoon shows him her injured right arm. Last night, while training alone, she was ambushed. Chenmo Ho Yoon is surprised that such a bold fool did this. But that person wore a mask. She couldn't tell. It is because you are careless with those kinds of people that they attacked you. Chung Wonryu warns her not to take these words lightly. She was not careless at all, given that she was attacked. It is very likely that Chung Woo Young will be too, since they were assigned to the same group. Team in the finals, and the opponents were drawn. Clearly, everything could have been done at once. However, it was deliberately divided into 4 groups. Thus, each group can guess in advance who its opponent is. So the information was deliberately made public before the competition to induce some people to attack. The leaders of the rival groups. Right. Exactly. Without a leader, formations become difficult to maintain. Anyway, the exam is tomorrow. We cannot be careless at all. Don't do dangerous things like training alone. Chung Won Ryo doesn't want to hear that a successor candidate hasn't even passed the second phase of the exam. It would be too shameful. Sean Mo Jian did not expect the weakest of them all to give him advice, overestimating herself. But those words cannot be ignored. He should take Haeyeon to practice that night late. I confidently swore that in 7 days, I would easily defeat the virtual Sean Mujian. But Nano indicates that the current win rate only exceeds 60%. However, during these 7 days, my strength has improved greatly. Nano estimates that the goal can be reached in a few more days. It's time to return to the dormitory, but halfway I hear fighting noises. Who's there? It's too dark to see clearly. It seems there is another person lying on the floor. I call Nano to activate night vision mode. One of them is Chan Muhyung. He seems to be attacked by that masked person. The masked person's sword is incredibly fast. Chan Muhyung is completely at a disadvantage. To be able to suppress him to such an extent, the masked man's skills are truly extraordinary. However, I don't want to help Chan Muhyung, but we can't be without a group leader. Before the group exam, the masked man reacts quickly, dodging my surprise attack. I immediately continue with punches, and he keeps dodging them. He seems to be an unpredictable strength master. The masked person sees that the situation is bad. He quickly leaves the scene. Jin Mo Jin did not expect to fall to the point of needing my help. I carry the 2 back to the barracks and tell the others to quickly tend to the injured. Iabong is somewhat worried. I am not injured. Oh yes, Nano examines the injured area and finds a sword wound 4 centimeters long and 2 millimeters deep in the head. After stopping the bleeding, disinfecting and suturing the wound, there should be no serious problems. Then someone shouts in alarm. I was focused on Jia Heian. I didn't even notice. This guy made no noise. He seems to be seriously injured. I tell Yoban to quickly go get the guard instructor, even though emergency treatment is administered immediately. This guy will probably not be able to walk for a while. The exam is tomorrow. If the group leader cannot walk, we are lost. The instructor knocks out Chinmo Yoon and prepares to take him to the infirmary. I remind the instructor that there is another injured person here, but he ignores me. Yevon wants to take the boy, but I tell him not to. I'll do it myself. I catch up to the instructor, carrying Jia Jaeon on my back, and explain the situation. The instructor knows that, no matter what, someone will take the boy. I understand that he deliberately left the injured person there for someone to follow. When I ask why, the instructor says there's no particular reason, but that only your group seems to have thrown in the towel. That's all he wanted to say. Hand that boy over to me. You know, students cannot leave their rooms at night, right? If you lose your main player, you have to put in a substitute. I keenly grasp the keyword in the instructor's statement. Has this only happened to our group? The second phase exam clearly has a hidden meaning, directed at the most important person, the group leader, blindly to easily defeat the opposing group in tomorrow's exam. Now I understand. The reason why the battle groups were drawn in advance was to create a situation where only intrigues could be used. And tricks. This is the divine cult of the heavenly demon. There is no need to stick to the rules. Let's act like true practitioners of the demonic path. Back in the barracks, I asked the other group members how long they intended to remain discouraged just because the leader had been attacked. But only Chinmug has received command training and has battlefield leadership experience. Who else can replace the leader? At that moment, Jabund raises his head. He asks them why they think there is no one. My lord is not here. Young Master Chenjio Yoon. The scene falls silent for a moment. They all look at each other. Students from the neutral faction are the first to express their agreement. After all, my presence is no less important than Chinmo's. Chinwoju's followers have no choice but to agree too. Does everyone agree that I should be the leader? Well, during formation training, a tactic came to mind. That night at Jin Hour, a figure rises in the barracks of Group 8, silently exits the dormitory. I ask Nano to activate night vision mode. It's time to continue the operation. I return to the barracks of Group 7. Having been here countless times throughout the night, Nano scans the interior of Room 7. This time, finally, everyone is sound asleep. I ask Nano if the one who attacked Chinmoyam is among them. After comparing physical information, Nano finds no match. That doesn't matter. I quickly knock these people out. This guy must be the leader of Group 7. He seems to have woken up startled. I quickly render him unconscious. Quite alert. A decent leader. I take out the long needles I prepared. After inserting the needles into the meridians and acupuncture points of the group, 7 leaders for several rounds. He should have difficulty walking for a while. Even though it wasn't you who did it, don't hold a grudge. Now let's move on to the next room. Group 5 leader Chin Wonryo has less martial arts skill than Chin Myojim, so she is not the masked person. That means the one who attacked Chin Myojim is in Group 6, right? Nano detects that all 16 people are fast asleep. Wait, why 16 people? Even adding the 3 students who live separately on the second floor, we are still missing 1 person. Nano's scanner reveals no one is here, which matches the information about the masked person. So it is most likely the one who is not here. If they were on the first floor, they would have discovered me when I came and went earlier. Wait, why am I bothering? I don't have to focus only on the leader. An eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth the next day. I draw lots to determine the opponents. Li Wamyang knows that my appointment as leader means someone has injured that young man from the demon subjugation sect. He perfectly understood the hidden meaning of the exam, as expected. This selection will not disappoint. For the exam, everyone prepared honorably. I hope you can compete. Well, the word honorably is indescribably ironic. As I went down, I vaguely felt someone's gaze. Is that person? Do the eyes of that guy look familiar to me? I need to scan him with Nano. Nano begins to scan the physical information. Height and bone structure match 100% with the masked person. I finally found you. The duels will begin soon. First round, Group 1 versus Group 3. As Lee Wama Jung announces the start. Group 3 charges first. The leader of Group 1, Chinmo, orders them to form Formation 3. This surprises Lee Wama Jung a little. Using the diagonal formation here, the shields begin to collide. This duel is almost without suspense. It is a crushing unilateral victory. Zheng Wu Yang looks down at the leader of Group 3 and orders him to surrender. He can only obediently admit defeat. The opponent was not particularly weak, but everything ended very easily. Lee Wama Yang announces that all students of Group 1 have passed the second phase of the exam. Second round, Group 4 vs Group 2. Group 4 wins. Next round, Group 8 vs Group 5. I turn around and see that everyone's morale is low. This cannot be. I ask them if they are nervous. I know everyone is uneasy because we changed leaders. I am also nervous, but if we don't win here, we will have to leave the Demonic Path Academy. It's too soon. We must reach a higher level. A despicable person has injured our leader to make us fail. We cannot let his plan succeed. If everyone is united with me, we will not lose here. We must win, so you already know how to boost morale. Whether you are a tiger cub or just a stray cat, you will find out soon. Lee Waymon announces the start. Chenmu and Ryo intended to crush Group 8. Led by Chenmoji Um, people like you do not deserve success, nor to fight for your pathetic life. Leaving the Demonic Path Academy now is the best option. She orders the attack. I resort to Nano for revealing augmented reality. Through formation, guidance, and activation of action instruction mode, I order everyone to hold their positions for now. Chung-Won Ryo orders formation 2. The opponent switches to arrow formation. Nano suggests forming a fish scale formation. As expected here, we can only clash head-on. I order formation 6. All group members move behind me. What is the fish scale formation like? Lee Hua, my young man, thinks to himself that I made a foolish decision from the start. If the leader at the front of the formation has no martial prowess, the fish scale formation makes no sense. Disappointed for nothing, Chenwon roars angrily, "Do you dare think you can fight me?" Her shield clashes forcefully against mine. Intense wind pressure is produced. What's going on? This guy has blocked my blow, enduring 10/10ths of my power, although my internal energy level is slightly lower than Shin Muon Ryo's, who adds a master level in external martial arts. I have the advantage. This is exciting. Arrow formations. The rear is not solid. If she doesn't change the formation now, it will definitely collapse. Shin Muon Ryo is forced to retreat. She orders her group to form formation 1. I also order my group to change to formation 3. Chenwon Ryo does not believe that the method already used by Group 1 leader will work on her. Although your internal energy is decent, your tactics are a disaster. Chen Yo Ian, she orders another change to formation 6. Using the fish scale formation, it can penetrate the diagonal formation from the center in one blow. Once you are isolated and defenseless, I will finish you off. But at that moment, Ryo, the group members disperse quickly. Chung-Won Ryo is surprised. Suddenly, I change to crane wing formation without warning. She quickly orders them not to panic and to protect themselves from attacks from both sides. I immediately order the group to change to formation 2, using the arrow formation here. In that case, watch the front, but you are surrounded on all sides. She doesn't understand what this humble person is doing. The formation is quickly established. It is actually a square formation. Only now does Chinwonryo realize that the numbers called were a feint. This is exactly the battle plan I devised last night. This insignificant person dares to play with me. Chinwonryo, I order the group to suppress them. These people clearly show fear. They drop their shields, one after another. Chinwonryo reprimands them harshly for what they are doing. It is not completely hopeless, but they remain silent. If this continues, they will mock me. Everyone will mock me. Chen Yo Yun. Bastard. Die. I drop my shield. The sword in my hand begins to gather power. It clashes violently with Chinwonryo's sword. Second blow. Third blow. Fourth blow. Fifth blow. In the end, I win. Changwon. Ryo cannot believe it. Where is my arm? His screams echo throughout the arena. The instructor rushes to stop the bleeding. I think it's because this is not a sword. Although I destroyed Chinwonryo's sword sheath with 5 moves, I could not complete the final move. Training swords have their limitations. After all, Lee Hwang-jong announces that all students of Group 8 have passed the second phase exam. The group members surround me excitedly. Lee Hwang-jong acknowledges that I used all 7 moves of the butterfly dance, solely for the technique itself. It is at Yip Mang's level. What the hell did that idiotic drunkard do? In just 21 days, he has achieved overwhelming growth in all aspects, strategy, and excellent tactics, in addition to the decision to cut off Shinhwan Ryo's arm. He is truly a genius talent. Unfortunately, I am the Academy Master and cannot accept him as a disciple. But Shinjio Yoon, you cannot just rejoice about it, because this time you have basically revealed your skills to everyone. Next, Group 6 vs Group 7. The leader of Group 6 was injured by my attack that night. After all, he feels a sharp pain in his side. There is a bastard who took advantage of him, leaving the barracks to cripple the legs of all his team members like this. It is this damned individual, Cheon Jun. He is convinced that my appearance of not knowing martial arts during this time was just a performance. The people of Group 7, seeing everyone in Group 6 limping, believe they have already won. They plan to bravely advance with Formation 6 to achieve victory. The members of Group 6 also think that, with their legs like this, they are doomed to lose. The leader sternly says that these boys will thank him for the rest of their lives. He orders to form an arrow, placing himself at the front. The leader of Group 7 mocks them, saying, "What's the use of changing formation if everyone is limping?" The leader of Group 6 looks at him coldly, with an icy stare. The two quickly begin to fight. The leader of Group 6 easily sends the leader of Group 7's shield flying. Then the sound of tearing flesh echoes throughout the arena. He roars, ordering his group members to advance, and using the leader of Group 7 as a human shield. He carves a bloody path. Group 7 is completely subdued in these circumstances, under their leader's orders. Group 6 takes advantage of their lead and gives them no chance to recover. Leh Wamyang has no idea who the leader of Group 6 is. His eyes are indifferent. He looks at the opponent in front of him. "You're next." Damn Chen-jun. I also realize that it seems I have provoked a rather troublesome enemy. The second stage exam soon concludes. This time, those of the higher sex must feel quite aggrieved, because it is a group exam. Some capable individuals have been disadvantaged by the weaker members of the group. If the positions are not reconfirmed, based on the performance of the candidates who have failed, those of the higher sex will continually protest to the academy master. Anyway, those people will grow using their families' own martial arts. But if they are people from small and medium-sized sects, if they lose the resources of the demonic path academy, they are basically finished. Speaking of those who passed the second stage exam, they should all be in the secret manual library now. No, I look at the secret manual library before me and feel it is even more magnificent than the main building of the academy. While I was in the infirmary, other students already visited the first floor. Are they going to the second floor today? The master told me not to do useless things until the second stage exam, and to completely focus on mastering the butterfly dance, the sword technique, and the unlimited heaven technique to increase the chances of passing the exam. And the useless things the master referred to were the secret manual library. Thanks to the master, I am already learning the martial arts that appear on the fourth and fifth floors of the library. He proudly stated that no martial art on the first floor compared to our sex techniques. But I have a nano, so I should scan both floors as thoroughly as possible. This is the first time in my life I've seen anything like it. So many books. There is only 1 hour on the first floor. I have to hurry. I have nano scan the books continuously. I flip through them. I can flip through a book in just 10 seconds. After scanning 50 books, I have half an hour left. I tell Nano to store them first, not to transfer them to my brain. Immediately, it feels like I've only looked at the outer shelves. I'll check the inner ones too. In the center of the library stands a huge stone monument. The warrior guarding the first floor seems to be a highly qualified expert, but I don't understand why there's a stone monument in the middle of the library. The guardian warrior looks at the badge on my chest, symbolizing my status as a successor candidate. Suddenly, he explains that this is a monument left by our cult, the founding patriarch, the heavenly demon ancestor. Only then do I notice the inscription on the monument. It looks like poetry. These markings amaze me greatly. I ask if it's possible that it was carved with fingers. The guardian warrior confirms that people without great internal energy can barely leave marks on blue jade stone, not even with a sword. However, the ancestor infused internal energy into his hands to write this. While common people just look at a book, I don't know if it's due to my lineage connection that I discovered the great imprints of the ancestor. I tell him I wasn't looking for it either and almost missed it, although it is poetry left by an ancestor with so many manuals around. The blue jade stone doesn't attract anyone's attention. He has been guarding here for over 20 years and hasn't seen anyone look at this monument before leaving. Seeing that I have been delayed quite a bit, he tells me to go finish what I have to do. Just then, as I turn around, I notice something unusual. The other side of the monument has sharp markings, as if trying to hide something. I have Nano scan these markings. Nano quickly completes the analysis. The results show that these markings were created by carving the surface of the monument with the sharp tip of a sword. I wonder who did something so shocking to the ancestors' monument. By analyzing the depth of the markings, Nano concludes that they were made by two people. They are completely invisible to the naked eye. I ask Nano to show me the scanned sword markings, using three-dimensional augmented reality. From the holographic projection, it is clear that the strength of each sword marking and the angle of the cuts and thrusts are very different. The original sword markings are scratched and messy. Could it be to cover the original markings? I have Nano keep only the first carved markings and erase all other sword markings. The original sword markings are quickly distinguished. My pupils suddenly contract. It's really not just simple sword markings, but sword techniques composed of countless movements. I have no idea what technique this is. I really lack understanding. I ask Nano if it can analyze these sword markings and display the sword technique through holographic images. Nano states that to measure the force that left the sword markings, it needs to know the hardness of the blue jade stone. At that moment, the guardian warrior asks me bewildered why I haven't gone to consult the books yet. The back of this monument is chaotic. Legend has it that, in the past, there was a swordsmanship that contained the heavenly demonic ancestors. Beastly insights here. No one knows who damaged the back this way, perhaps to monopolize the ancestors' knowledge. Hearing his words, I wonder if these markings are truly just simple damages. The guardian warrior says he has to patrol and asks me to take a look, and then leave. The opportunity finally arrives. Nano tells me to place my entire palm against the monument to analyze the hardness of the blue jade stone, and I feel a tingling in my palm, using diamond hardness as a standard. Nano determines that the hardness of the blue jade stone is 7, and based on the hardness, it analyzes and combines the sword markings. It shows vivid movements through holographic images. The figure and I look at each other, just as I am about to ask him who he is. Nano indicates 2 directions. The dialogue function is not supported. Now showing the sword markings, I marvel at the incredible strength this holds. The golden figure. It recreates the sword markings of the past at incredible speed. My voice trembles. I ask Nano if this is a single move. Nano analyzes that all the movements are connected based on what the martial arts master has learned, and concludes that, indeed, it is a single move. How is this possible? The manual of the form's dance sword technique. Even the master took half a year to master it. It is extremely complex. It is an unparalleled ultimate technique. It cannot be defeated. At first, I didn't have high expectations for the first-floor library. I didn't expect such an opportunity. I urgently tell Nano to replay from after that technique, although I don't know who is so malicious. Thanks to that person, I obtained this sword technique. I should thank them. After analyzing the chaotic sword markings erased in the holographic image, Nano discovers 45 sword techniques composed of connected movements. My exit steps stop immediately. It wasn't deliberately to cover it up, but they are all sword techniques. I urgently ask Nano to display the 45 sword techniques in sequence through holographic images. This is the first move, the second move, the third move. 20, play, 30, play. I'm surprised to find that these techniques are gradually approaching perfection. After Nano finishes the holographic images, I am already drenched in sweat just from looking at it from the side. I ask Nano if it can make the initially stored sword technique, and the 45 techniques from a moment ago compete through holographic images. A moment later, 3 figures face each other. The next instant, Nano activates holographic images in duel mode, and 2 incredibly powerful figures begin to duel. I intensely focus on observing every move they execute. In the end, the last green figure wins. The first move, which seemed flawless, is broken by a subtle difference in form. It is not simply a matter of erasing the traces of the previous technique. The 45 sword markings are the result of a long research process to break the ultimate technique. I respectfully ask the guardian warrior if only the first floor has blue jade stone. He replies that all floors have it. I look forward to going to the second floor. All students are still on the second floor, because the visiting time for the second floor is half an hour longer than for the first. I have realized that Chan, from the sect of the 6 demonic sex swords, is here. The other successor candidates are too confident in their own sex martial arts, and do not come here. I think to myself that I must be especially careful with this person. I tiptoe to the center of the second floor library. As expected, there is a monument here too. I have Nano analyze the sword markings here, as it did on the first floor. Nano detects that the initially carved sword markings are a sword technique composed of 24 forms, and if the sword markings left by others afterward are added, there are a total of 56 techniques. It seems that more research was done compared to the first floor. To break the initially carved technique, you want to immediately confirm that it is impossible. Under everyone's watchful eyes, you have Nano extract and store all the sword techniques. To think I got 4 ultimate techniques just like that. I am very eager to transfer them to my brain and my body. The students, focused on viewing the manuals, are disturbed by some strange noises. I carelessly flip through each book and put it aside, even when standing still. They may not be able to memorize them. Only half an hour remains. There is no time to worry about that. Concentrate quickly. I close another book. Nano indicates that the scan is complete. Chan, from the Sword Demon sect, observes this scene. He smiles inexplicably. So far, 156 books have been scanned. The next step is the experience that the master greatly emphasized, using Nano's augmented reality capability. If it is as I think, I will be able to accumulate even more diverse combat experience. I heard that, once the second stage of the exam is completed, the personal training rooms will be fully open. I look forward to transferring the ultimate martial techniques. At that moment, someone blocks my path quickly. This guy is the leader of Group 6, isn't he? I ask him what he wants from me. He asks me in somber tones if I am playing dumb. Do you think I cannot guess that it is you who injured the legs of all my group members? Seeing his murderous look, it seems he plans to fight me here. I provocatively ask him, who told you to leave? He calmly replies, thanks to whom? Unlike a certain person, he does not fall for the provocation. This guy is not weak. I have to deal with him properly. A voice calls out in this direction, but this guy and I are facing off, completely ignoring it. The person sighs, not taking me seriously. With a quick step, he reaches the center of the confrontation. This guy is Remiresumen from the Sword Demon sect. He cheerfully praises that the leaders who pass the second stage exam are truly different. He tells the leader of Group 6 that he has been waiting a long time and asks him to let me go first with him. After speaking, he even clasps his hands in greeting. The leader of Group 6 did not expect a successor candidate to bow to another student, but he has also been looking for me all day. He tells Chan to get lost. Chan ponders what to do. Then, since he waited so long specifically because he wanted to see me, the leader of Group 6 feels he is being looked down upon. His attack falls instantly. Chan quickly counterattacks. He completes a reversal in just an instant. How about that? He broke a technique he was seeing for the first time using only the simplest movement. Is that guy's strength really that formidable? The leader of Group 6 did not expect to be subdued by someone who hadn't even adopted a proper stance. Chan, seeing that he has lost some balance, he suspects he has a rib injury. The leader of Group 6 knows that this guy is definitely beyond the student level. Chan pats him on the shoulder and tells him to wait a moment. He says nothing and turns to leave. What does this guy want from me? Is he planning to attack first? In any case, I cannot face him, relying solely on my own abilities. I have activated Nanos, revealing augmented reality combat guide mode. Set to butterfly dance. Sword technique. Chan kindly asks me why I am so reserved. Although, from your position, it is natural, but don't be too paranoid either. For our first meeting as half-brothers, I'm glad to meet you. Brother, the word brother sounds too strange to me. I am annoyed. Is this guy playing with me? Now, Chan realizes that you are being a bit annoying. After all, the 6 major sects have made things difficult for you in every way. It is natural for you to have this attitude. I ask, knowing this, do you still expect me to treat you kindly? But he says he just wanted our first meeting to be friendly. Because he likes me. Because we are both swordsmen. When he saw me cut off that Demon Sound sect boy's arm, he was speechless. I have become your biggest fan. Brother, I angrily shouted him to stop talking nonsense and state his true purpose. The atmosphere between the two suddenly cools. He sighs. It seems getting along will take time. No more nonsense. So brother, come to our demon sword sect. I am instantly stunned. I ask him if he is serious. He waited outside the secret manual library until now to tell me this. How could it be a joke? Although he doesn't know what others think, he doesn't see me as an enemy. He hopes I will join the demon sword sect and stay by his side. I ask, are you telling me to give up the battle for succession? I didn't expect you to understand it like this, but anyway, it's impossible for you. If you also achieve it, you will undoubtedly face me. You have no chance of winning, but if we work together in the same direction, your path will be much easier. Isn't that great? You call this not seeing me as an enemy? I refuse. Without hesitation, he gives me a sideways glance and asks why. Let me give you some advice. Instead, your side cannot accept me either. Just don't block my way and I'll spare your life. The atmosphere between the two completely cools. Nano detects that the enemy is rapidly accumulating powerful energy in his right arm. Please dodge half a step to the left to avoid the attack. Then use the second move of the butterfly dance, the sword technique. The return to origin, the butterfly alert. Is it starting? I react quickly. Chan is surprised, and then he bursts into laughter. Nano detects that the powerful energy accumulated in his right arm is gradually weakening, although he was angry for a moment thinking about it. It's pretty good. What a useless effort. If I had followed the same path as him, we would definitely have faced each other. Isn't that right? Nano detects that the enemy is accumulating powerful energy in his right arm. In an instant, a heart-rending roar is heard. I look at Chan, unable to believe it. That was truly the aura of the sword. He says disdainfully that at that level, trying to take his life is far from enough. Being able to release the sword aura with bare hands means he has reached the realm of maximum mastery. The rumor that he is competing with the dark demon sects, Mayung for the successor position, turns out to be not unfounded. Until next time, brother. After defeating Chinmujium, and expelling Chen Ryo from the demonic Path Academy. I thought I was on his level. Don't be impatient. Chen Young. The goal is not to catch up to them, but to surpass them. Chen Ryu-chan reflects on the scene from a moment ago. He understands that I anticipated the attack, although he wanted to cut off my right arm in one blow even before releasing the sword aura. I had already moved away from the trajectory. He thinks to himself that, indeed, I am different from common nobodies. And currents, I arrive at the personal training room of the Demonic Path Academy, a square about 2 meters on a side. This width is completely insufficient for practicing footwork and techniques. However, the stone walls are quite thick. This way, the training will not be disturbed by others. I have activated nanos revealing augmented reality, and I display the technique from the second-floor monument through holographic images. This is faster and more complex than the technique carved on the first-floor monument, even if I use the ultimate secret of the butterfly dance sword technique. I cannot block even a single move. Next are the sword techniques marked left by later practitioners. The 56 techniques are perfectly displayed before my eyes. This is incredibly difficult without practicing swordsmanship. This type of technique cannot be completed. The initially clumsy and unnatural techniques become astonishingly perfect at move 56. I have the different techniques from the second floor fight each other. The later carved sword technique ends up winning, just like the first floor technique. The initially carved ultimate technique is broken by a single difference in movements. A brilliant idea instantly occurs to me. If I use the butterfly dance sword technique to fight the ultimate technique, didn't the later sculpted sword techniques also fail? Because they couldn't block a single move of the ultimate technique. First, I close my eyes. Then let's compete. There must be a way to counter it, using the butterfly dance sword technique. 2 versions of me begin to gather power. At the same time, attacking instantly, Nano detects the user's brain. Neural cells are rapidly activated. The resulting energy circulation stimulates the body's acupuncture points. The user's Danshan energy is activated and continuously increases. A powerful internal energy swirls around me. Suddenly, I open my eyes wide. I'm confused about what just happened. I was clearly immersed in the holographic duel. I fell into mental images without realizing it. My body feels strange, and impossibility instantly occurs to me. My internal energy has actually increased by 10 years. Could it be that I have achieved enlightenment? I have achieved enlightenment without the help of Nano. Indeed, these techniques are worthy of being called supreme martial arts. For some reason, I feel that I can now use the butterfly dance technique better. It's different from the feeling of cutting the air I had before. Enlightenment not only greatly increases internal energy. Have I achieved the manifestation of energy? Now, however, my internal energy is still not enough, and it has not formed a complete sword. But if I absorb the demonic dragon orb obtained this time, I will also possess an internal energy cycle. In that case, the difference with Chen Ryu-chan will decrease considerably. Nano tells me that I have been in a trance for an hour. It's almost time to return to the barracks. I probably won't be able to transfer to the body. I have Nano transfer the techniques recorded on the first and second floors first, as well as the 45 and 56 techniques recorded later to my brain. I ask Nano how long it takes to transfer them to the body. According to the analysis, the transformation of muscle fiber tissue and meridians requires 5 hours. There is no choice but to leave early tomorrow. I return to the barracks and see that someone has not yet returned from the personal training room. Iyaban respectfully greets me. After memorizing the manuals, he also does a preliminary review and diligently trains in the personal training room. I ask him if he has obtained anything good. He replies that they are just second-rate martial arts, but since he is not good at unarmed combat, he transcribed a leg technique manual. In times like this, everyone strives to advance. Although they say we have 3 days to rest if we want to move forward, we cannot waste time. The next day, at Zen hour, I finally complete the transformation of muscle fiber. The tissue and meridians. Elders, Nano releases the anesthesia state, and sudden nausea washes over me. Urgently, I ask Nano to start reducing the internal reaction of body transformation. I feel like I've just come back to life. The power in my hands is completely different compared to when I learned the butterfly sword technique. It's a world of difference. I feel incredibly powerful. I take off my clothes. My muscles are also very developed. It doesn't look like my body. I stare intently at the wall in front of me. My hand begins to gather power. Next door, the leader of Group 6 is cultivating internal energy. He understands that he was too arrogant and complacent after injuring Chen Mujun. Since today, he has felt a huge difference with that person, and he knows that if he wants to regain his honor, he must train even harder. First of all, I have to completely forget about unimportant things like Chen Jian. I need to set a bigger goal for myself. Suddenly, the wall next to him collapses. The instructors outside the training room are startled. The powerful impact hits the unprepared leader of Group 6, who cannot believe it. Is it an assassin? What bastard dares to do this? Who is that guy? Jian, that damn guy. The instructor severely reprimands my actions. You should be grateful. Student number 108 is still alive, or you would be expelled from the Demonic Path Academy. This will affect your evaluation. You'd better keep that in mind. From now on, you will only be allowed to use the underground training room. If you break that too, you will never be allowed to use any training room again. I sincerely promise to be more careful. The instructor looks thoughtfully at my back. Indeed, he punched through a wall made of forged world stone. Has that guy's internal energy already reached maximum mastery? I ask Nano, confused, why has my strength become so powerful? Nano explains to me that, to leave marks on the blue jade stone through physical attacks. It transformed my muscle fibers and meridians to their physical limits, unlike the dagger technique and the butterfly dance sword technique, which used the ability to execute movements perfectly as a standard. Instead, it used the ability to leave marks on the blue jade stone as a standard, to avoid affecting my growth in height. Nano made subtle adjustments to the strength level. When my body fully matures, the transformation limit will be greater than now. Time is the only answer, but with Nano's capabilities, there is no way to increase the master's stature other than stimulating growth. I arrive at the underground personal training room, based on the data transferred to my brain. These are techniques perfected over decades. They might even be the insights of the heavenly demon ancestor himself. I'm quite nervous performing these ultimate techniques for the first time. First, the ultimate sword technique, but the move I execute is completely different from what I imagined. So I'll try again, unwilling to give up. I execute the first ultimate sword move again, but why is the technique so disappointing? These ultimate sword techniques are called the Sword of Destruction. I execute all 45 forms. I can feel that the first and second moves of the Sword of Destruction are perfect, but I have the feeling that I cannot execute them completely. They are nothing like the terrifying techniques I saw in the holographic images. I have Nano display the ultimate sword techniques extracted from the blue jade stone, and my own movements and holographic images. To compare them, both images execute the movements simultaneously. I clearly realize what is wrong. My execution is simply limited to connecting the movements together. I even lag a bit when finishing, but I don't understand where exactly the problem lies. Could it be because there are only techniques, even performing the techniques themselves, without the energy circulation route? Right, it's the energy circulation route, just like the final secret of the butterfly dance. The sword technique. If I don't circulate internal energy through the energy route, I cannot execute it correctly. It's like losing the core. I am speechless. What's the point of leaving only sword techniques without the energy circulation route? Suddenly, I remember the poem that appears on the front of the blue jade stone. I urgently ask Nano to display the front of the first floor stone monument in a holographic image. Nano extracts the monument through the stored images from the user's visual information. It reads, "The great wind rises, the clouds soar, power spreads across the land. Returning to the homeland, where can I find brave warriors to protect the four corners?" I reflect on what clues might be hidden here. Nano explains that the poem displayed is a foundational poem from a certain dynasty, so it is not a poem written by the heavenly demon ancestor himself. I have Nano analyze the surface of the monument to see if it can find any clues. Nano discovers that there are small holes beneath each character, but the number of holes beneath each character varies. What does this mean? I speculate. Could they represent Aku points? 4 holes would mean 4 Aku points. That can't be right now that I think about it. The first book Nano scanned was about Aku points. The 4th acupuncture point is the Milan tail acupuncture point. But normally, energy circulation routes must begin from the sea of energy acupunto in the Danshan, which must have 7 holes. Suddenly, inspiration strikes. The character Great has 3 strokes, and if 4 holes are added, it becomes 7. In fact, each character, plus the holes beneath it, corresponds to an acupuncture point. 23 is the right side gate. Then everything fits. In fact, I have found the hidden energy circulation route. I excitedly shout that I am a genius. I have finished dinner, I have to hurry, and practice the ultimate techniques with the energy circulation route. At that moment, someone calls me from behind, introduces himself as student number 200 Yen Pa, asks me to practice together once. It's the first time we've met. There's no reason for it, and I don't want to waste time. I turn around and leave without hesitation, but this guy sticks to me like a persistent leech, constantly scolding me. Finally, he says that if I win, he will give me information about the 3rd stage exam, and a gift, and only then do I follow Yom Pa to an open area. I don't understand what motive there could be for behaving so absurdly. Arguing with me at the cost of sharing information, He says it's probably to confirm qualifications. I don't understand what that means. He wants to show me the sword technique that Sek is proud of. I gesture with my hand for him to come closer. Yompa launches a quick attack at me. I dodge it by tilting my head slightly. His attacks keep coming. I easily dodge them all. They are simply too slow. I indifferently counterattack with a hand blow. Yompa offers no resistance. He spits out blood violently and flies out. I trembled in fear. I didn't control my strength. I didn't kill him. Or did I? Jian Pan never expected such a pathetic defeat. After watching me train with Shenhuan Ryo, he thought he could exchange at least a dozen moves with me. He is convinced that I was hiding my true strength, before praising me as truly worthy of being the sect leader's son. Then, as agreed, he will provide me with information. Before that, I asked him why he had requested this fight, win or lose. It brings him no benefit. Yompa sighs, saying that I really don't trust others. As he said, it is to confirm qualifications. He says that the third stage exam will most likely also include group tasks. But as far as I know, the Academy Master personally said that there would be no more group exams. Yompa explains that this exam focuses more on individual strength. The third stage is designed to select the superior warriors. Only top-level masters with top-level martial arts and half-internal energy cycle can qualify. Currently, among the students who pass the second stage exam, only 20% have strength above that of top-level masters. With the demonic dragon orb, most students will possess half an internal energy cycle. That leaves one last problem, the top-tier martial arts manuals. The second floor of the library only has second-tier martial arts. I understand that this exam will provide top-tier martial arts manuals that must be memorized, but that would make the exam too easy. So if Yompa's father's words are correct, the top-tier martial arts for the exam should be the 7 demonic swords that the superior warriors of our sect can use to perform the sword demon formation. I heard it before from Hank, the guard, that the 7 demonic swords formation is not only a top-tier martial art, but also contains wonders. It can form the sword demon formation with 1.236 or 108 people, respectively. The more people there are in the sword formation, the greater the ability to defeat enemies above their level. Jumpa's father practiced the 7 demonic swords in a group of 12 at that time. Even the basic sword demon formation is difficult for anyone other than a top-tier master to comprehend. So Jumpa wanted to comprehend my strength through combat. He says he wants to accompany me in this exam. He has heard that the third phase of the exam is entirely initiated by the students. However, group leaders will be designated based on evaluations and second stage exam scores. They will have the right to choose team members, more so than ordinary students. It is likely that the third stage exam is designed for the 6 major sects. And the young masters, I understand that the third phase exam is part of the succession battle. If you cannot create your own faction and master the 7 demonic swords and formation within the time limit, you will be automatically eliminated. Jompa asks me if I remember him saying he would give me a gift. That gift is the same. I think to myself that that is a gift I don't really need. In his opinion, I will undoubtedly become a group leader, and his stable strength is better than those reckless students. His strength is, in fact, second only to that of the group leaders, and what he says is not incorrect. But I always feel there's something that doesn't fit. It seems I have to use that method. I ask, aren't there other candidates for succession? Why are you choosing me? He scratches his head awkwardly and says that he made the same offer to the young masters of the Dark Demon Sect and the Sword Demon Sect, but they refused. Yes, they are already complete besides. We are both sword users. Hearing this, I have already made a decision. Jumpa sincerely asks me if I can accept him. I look at him with a smile. He instantly becomes overjoyed, kneeling halfway through the sentence. When he hears me say I refuse, he doubts he heard correctly and asks me what I said. My face turns cold. I repeat, I refuse. A moment ago, I asked Nano to perform a facial analysis of young PA. When responding why he hadn't chosen other people, the probability of him lying was 45%. When he said he hoped I would accept him, the probability of lying increased to 62%. The probability only made me suspicious. But what confirmed it was the last statement, when he said we are both sword users. It was extremely similar to Chenra Yuchan, who claimed to follow the path of the sword while excluding the sword demon sect. That guy is ridiculous. At this moment, Yongpa is reporting the situation to Chenra Yuchan. Upon hearing that I refused Yongpa, he bursts into laughter. So that guy took the information and ran away. What an interesting character. Originally, Yanpaya's plan was to become a member of that guy's team, and then be absent on the day of the exam, causing his elimination due to lack of members. Cyan Ryu-chan feels it's a bit of a shame to eliminate that guy this way. If it weren't for competing for the successor position, I would definitely try to win him over again. Junpa asks the young master to give him another chance. He still has other plans. Chan Ryu-chan says it's not necessary. He tells Yanpai to find a group he can join, or perhaps even become a group leader. Yonpa is surprised and alarmed. Chan Ryu-chan tells him not to worry. He still has several more to eliminate. I don't need incompetent subordinates, so get lost. However, Chan Ryu-chan does not understand why this guy was subdued in one blow. Seeing that guy's strength a few days ago, he wasn't that strong. Although this is truly incomprehensible, whether by luck or by strength, we will soon see. At that moment, Nano has finished analyzing the hundreds of second-tier and third-tier manuals scanned in the secret manual library. I've learned that Nano can designate virtual characters and set martial arts techniques. I try to set the 5 initially scanned sword martial arts techniques to Chen Mahyung's image. This guy is as annoying as I expected, shouting, "You low-class bastard, come at me." I've heard that phrase so many times that my ears are already calloused. I calmly wait for Chin Mujim to launch his attack. He is indeed very weak. I quickly counterattack with a hand-edge strike. Nano indicates that the virtual character has died from a fractured cervical spine. This completely exceeds my expectations, with body transformation and enlightenment greatly increasing my internal energy. The virtual Chinmagian is no longer a match for me, but this was not my plan. Even setting second-tier martial arts for the virtual character will not make a big difference. In that case, generate 10 virtual Chinmujims. Set them all with different second-tier martial arts. 10 seems too much for me. I'll ask Nano to reduce the number. At that moment, all the Chinmujims repeat that phrase, constantly shouting. I tell Nano that there's no need to adjust it. These guys are all dead. 10 Jinmu gems launch attacks at me simultaneously. I easily block the first attack. Then I jump to dodge the other attacks, but my head takes a violent impact. I fall pathetically to the ground. Nano temporarily stops the augmented reality. Augmented reality made me forget that this space is quite narrow. At that moment, I realize that the place I just hit is covered in countless cracks. I call an instructor to check it out. I can't help but feel anxious inside. The instructor holds his forehead and asks me with pain what I've done to the ceiling. I was warned before, so he forbids me from using this training room anymore. The instructor tells me to follow him. I follow the instructor out of the personal training room. We arrive at a building that is only half the size of the personal training room building. The instructor tells me that from now on I should train here. This training room only opens after reaching the maximum level and passing the 4th stage exam. Although I haven't passed the exam yet, but to break the forged world stone walls of the personal training room requires at least maximum level internal energy. Maximum, so to prevent me from causing more trouble. The instructor has opened this place a little earlier than planned with the Academy Master's approval. The instructor says that this place is built with insulating stone. No matter how much nonsense I do, it is absolutely impossible to break it. Train here with peace of mind. 9 of them will have to back down. Nano asks me if I should continue training with the 10 virtual Chinmayams. I ask if it can designate Master Yuk Men as a virtual character for combat. Nano says it can create one based on the movement standards that Yuk Men displayed with the butterfly dance sword technique. That will undoubtedly help me more than Sean Mojim. Not even the attention of the 10 Sean Mojims can compare. Jack Meng boldly asks me if this brat is my disciple, challenging his master. I tell Nano to remember to silence the master next time too. The master is among the top 10 experts in the sect, only in martial arts. He could never be my rival. Then I will attack first, targeting his weak point. The master brandishes his sword twice naturally and blocks all my attacks. Then he hits my jaw with the palm of his hand. It's completely overwhelming power. He sends me flying without any resistance. Is this the strength of one of the 5 absolute masters of the heavenly demonic divine cult? Nano asks me if I should change the virtual character in the martial arts settings. I want to restart the battle. Let me try. Then, using my ultimate techniques, the master lunges at me with a wild laugh. I intensely focus, catching every detail with the ultimate sword techniques. I barely have the qualifications to exchange moves. I unleash my full potential. Between the gaps and movements, I can barely touch the master. This is the final blow, just as my fingers are about to pierce the master's forehead. In the end, I still fly out. My body crashes hard against the wall. I am really unwilling to accept this. Even with the ultimate sword techniques, I am no match for the master's virtual character. Then I realize something. The master's virtual character also has some sword wounds. So the final move did touch his forehead, but they are all superficial. Just by looking at the sword techniques, they are superior to those of the master's virtual character. But the absolute difference in martial arts level prevents me from defeating him until the end of the 6th exam at the Demonic Path Academy. It's 4 years in total. I swear to surpass the master in 4 years. 3 days later, all the students who passed the exam gather in the large training ground. Yesterday, I spent the whole day and only managed to draw with the 10 virtual Chinmujums. Li Huangjong first explains the content of the third stage exam to everyone. Then he distributes the demonic dragon orbs. The third stage exam consists of forming a sword formation with 12 people. I didn't expect that everything Jumpa said was true. Li Guamian explains that the basic condition for 12 people to form a sword formation is to possess top-tier martial power. This is the foundation of our sect's martial arts. The proud demonic sword formation, the manual of the 7 demonic swords. After you take the demonic dragon orb today and continuously practice the 7 demonic swords, you will undoubtedly develop top-tier martial power. Until here, what they say is not difficult, but the third stage exam will be held within 28 days. Each group that forms a sword formation must defeat the martial arts instructors who oppose them. You must know that the instructors are all top-level experts. Some even have martial power at the peak of the highest level. Everything is, as John Pa said. So the next step is to select the group leaders. Li Guamian continues to explain that this exam is entirely at the students' initiative. You must do your best to recruit members for your team and practice the sword formation. After explaining the method for selecting group leaders, he will distribute the 7 demonic swords, the manual and the demonic dragon orbs to everyone. Then he will conclude the meeting. I am surprised. Won't group leaders be designated by grades? The method is to challenge these 17 instructors within 7 days, and whoever snatches the yellow badges from them will become a group leader. The entire venue erupts in an uproar, with a total of 207 people forming 17 groups. At least 3 people must be eliminated. Li Huanma Young tells everyone not to think it's too difficult. The instructors with yellow badges will not use their own special techniques against you. But the 7 demonic swords, I understand that deciphering the 7 demonic swords in the shortest possible time means fully comprehending the sword techniques. 7 days to practice and decipher the 7 demonic swords is very little time. Li Guamian sees that everyone is confused and wants to scare them even more. He asks if any student wants to challenge him immediately, and the entire venue falls silent. Li Wanmyang feels somewhat helpless about this situation. Showing courage and strength would attract attention. Of course, if one loses, it would have the opposite effect. Just as he is about to conclude the class, a hand is raised. Group 1, Leader, Dark Demon Sex Successor. Candidate, Chen Mujang. Group 8, Chen Yo. And that guy is number 18. Back he, who defeated the successor of the poisonous demon sex. Group 12 successor candidate, Chen Yong Yong, to become group leader. 2 unexpected people are challenging. This is quite exciting. Just by being close to Back he and observing him, I can feel his determination. Li Guamian sees that 3 people dare to challenge him and feels somewhat expectant. He asks which martial arts instructor wants to accept the challenge. The 3 instructors from the challengers' previous groups step forward together. Li Wanmyang feels somewhat helpless. He had already told them not to develop unnecessary feelings for the students. At that moment, the chief martial arts instructor also steps forward. Seeing this instructor, Lin Pyong, who was in charge of my previous Group 8, consciously steps back. From now on, I can only rely on myself to overcome this. No matter who I face, they will not show mercy. Probably, the instructors want to face challengers who are not the students they were responsible for. To prevent them from immediately taking away the group leader title, let's start with student number 1, who was formerly the leader of Group 1. Yosan, the former supervisor of Group 12, quickly decides to accept the fight. The chief instructor did not expect the boy he was interested in to be chosen by someone else. Jio-san understands that if the chief instructor intervened, he would not hold back. He also believes that Jian Mojum is the right candidate to be the next successor, so he doesn't want him to be embarrassed here to retaliate. The chief instructor chooses student number 18, whom Jio-san was responsible for. The Group 1 supervisor wanted to choose me as his opponent, so this works out well for me. A space is cleared in the middle of the large training ground for duels. After the 2 clasp their fists in greeting, they officially begin. I tell Nano not to miss a single moment and to scan everything. Jamem uses the soft mystic cloud palm, ranked among the top 3 martial arts of our sect. Due to the rules, the instructor can only compete using the 7 demonic swords. I realized that the instructor's sword techniques were very familiar to me. Just by seeing the power his palm transmits, the technique has reached a consummate level. His understanding of techniques has already surpassed the student level. Based on his martial power alone, he is already at the level of a great guardian. The instructor understands that he can no longer treat him like a student. Chen Bayam did not expect the instructor to block his ultimate special technique with mere top-tier martial arts. I discovered that the sword techniques that make up the instructor's movements are identical to the sword of destruction techniques found on the blue jade stone. The difference is that the 7 demonic swords only have 12 sword forms, while the sword of destruction has 24. So the person who left those countless sword marks could be the sword demon. Xingwu, both IOM and the instructor have maximum internal energy level, but he is slightly inferior. The instructor blocks his palm technique with superior combat experience. He understands that if he cannot decide the outcome here, the situation will become even more unfavorable. Then there is no other way. Seeing him change his stance, I understand that he wants to use a special technique to decide the outcome here. Then I will use all my strength to receive it. Chiungui or Amet charges at him. First, internal energy accumulates in his right palm. The instructor's right palm technique performs a corresponding defense. But Chinwu and OEM does not strike with his right palm. Instead, he switches to his left palm technique. He succeeds in striking the instructor's weak point, disrupting his rhythm. It's the same technique as before, but the fact that it comes suddenly from the opposite direction is truly unexpected. The instructor counterattacks decisively. He manages to immobilize Jian Mu Yong's left hand. But Chen Wu Yong's right hand has also accumulated internal energy. He hits the instructor instantly. He successfully defeats him. The entire venue erupts in a loud uproar. No one expected Chen Mu Yong to defeat the instructor. Right sword, left palm, left sword, right palm, simultaneously executing 2 special techniques. He truly mastered that martial art of our sect. Absolute second-rank master. Even Li Guamian cannot help but silently praise him as a genius. The instructor rips the yellow badge from his chest. He announces that Kemio Ioham has qualified to be a group leader in the 3rd stage. I think about how the phrase, "see the badge," turns out to be quite worrying. Does that mean one person can take multiple badges? I'll put aside questions about badges for now. My performance now will determine future events. I must prove my worth to everyone. The instructor sees that I look quite presentable. Despite facing him as an instructor, I am not nervous, but full of fighting spirit. Everyone thought this kid wouldn't survive the 1st round and would be eliminated. However, your incredible feats end here. Brat, I will crush you completely in front of everyone. The instructor indicates for me to attack first. I have just reached the maximum level compared to true top-level masters. My internal energy is still insufficient. Letting me attack first must mean he is underestimating me. I have to use all my strength to decide the outcome. Even though the instructor used 70% of his power to defend himself, he was still pushed back by me. He realizes that although this person's internal energy is inferior to his, the techniques are too strong. This is truly humiliating. There is still some difference in internal energy. After all, as expected, it won't be that easy to defeat him. The instructor counterattacks using the 4th and 6th forms of the 7 demonic swords. Now, even without Nano's help, I can see that his sword techniques are incomplete in comparison. The sword of destruction from the blue jade stone is merely an amateur technique. I face the instructor's attack head-on. The instructor thinks to himself that this fool is falling right into his trap. At this rate, the outcome will be decided in just 2 moves. The next instant, I manage to repel the instructor's sword technique. The spectators are stunned. Li Guamian cannot believe that he has thwarted the 7 demonic sword techniques with only the basic forms of the butterfly dance sword technique. The instructor is completely enraged. Things have come to this point. Even if I suffer internal injuries, I will use all my strength to take him down. Li Guamian did not expect that crazy guy to go all out. I feel that this is internal energy. Nano detects the damage to the organs caused by the energy penetrating the body. It will quickly repair the damaged organs, beginning self-repair. The instructor is bewildered. This guy clearly suffered internal injuries. Why hasn't he fallen? I take advantage of his moment of distraction and attack. The instructor still wants to rely on his protective energy shield to hold on, but my accumulated power has already reached my own limit. His energy protective shield alone cannot block it. The instructor spits out blood violently. The others are completely shocked. Only now does the instructor realize how terrifying this individual is. Monster! The instructor falls unconscious. I also regain my senses. Only now does Chenryu Chang believe that Yon Pan was not talking nonsense. This is getting dangerous. The 7 ever-changing demonic swords were truly cracked. This is too excellent. He can be called a martial arts genius. Li Hwang Meiyang begins to regret not having kept me instead of handing me over to that drunkard. I really did. The instructors have lost twice in a row and are starting to worry why students would underestimate them. Instructor JIT believes that if someone has as much skill as talent, they can also surpass instructors. Excellent rising stars have appeared. However, these guys are not content with it and are still worried about their reputation. However, he understands that he has no right to blame them. In a moment of stupidity, he failed to identify that talent when choosing an opponent. Another cause for regret. The next match is between the chief instructor and number 18, Baek Ji. The other instructors cannot imagine that person losing. The students see that Baek Ji dares to step forward, perhaps, just like student number 7. He is also hiding his true strength. Both sides exchange pleasantries. The duel officially begins. The chief instructor's aura is incredibly powerful. Just by feeling it, Baek Ji's body goes numb. However, he will not leave with regrets. He uses a descending footwork technique against the chief instructor. It seems I will have a new virtual character to train with. The chief instructor slightly moves his upper body and completely dodges it. But Baek Ji's hind foot is undefended. The chief instructor quickly aims for Bae Ji's hind foot. Seeing that things are going wrong, he decides to use the chief instructor's attack, managing to create distance between them. Baeji's control over his body surprises the chief instructor slightly. He gathers internal energy again and attacks. He actually manages to hit. The students watching the scene are greatly impacted. However, the next second, blood splatters everywhere. Baeji's foot has already been pierced by the sword energy. He falls backward. Pathetically, he didn't expect the chief instructor to be able to create sword energy in such a short time. Is this what is known as the highest level? The maximum level? The chief instructor sees that Baekji uses footwork, but his right foot is crippled. He asks him what he is going to do now. Baekji endures the intense pain and stands up. His strong willpower is somewhat unexpected for the chief instructor. Baekji understands that the difference in strength is too great. He can only decide the outcome with one move. As he gathers strength, blood gushes out, but he still charges at the chief instructor with all his might, executing even more precise footwork moves than before. Injured but still so bold, the chief instructor feels somewhat satisfied. At that moment, Baekji changes his stance, evading the chief instructor's defense. He is surprised. It was a subtle move. Baekji uses even stronger footwork. A slight buzzing sound is heard between the attacks. Instructor Jif is excited, as this kid has also just reached the maximum level. Pex's kick completely misses. He has been caught. This is cruel. The chief instructor looks at him mockingly. Praising him is fine and all, but what a shame. Baekji has no strength left to resist the chief instructor's attack. He is completely defeated. The other students realize that numbers 1 and 7 are monsters who defeated the instructors. If the chief instructor hadn't shown mercy by injecting sword energy, Baekji's chest would have been pierced. I understand that Baekji faced the wrong opponent. If the instructor he faced hadn't been at the maximum level, the highest level, there might have been a glimmer of hope. The chief instructor gives Baekji some pointers. Baekji bows respectfully and thanks him. He stumbles back into the ranks. At that moment, I notice something unusual. Baekji's face is abnormally pale, and his neck is turning red. I zoom in the Nano Machine and scan it, so I can confirm it immediately after the third stage exam is over. And the announcement is made. Lehuanian distributes 1 wooden sword and 1 demonic dragon orb per person for the third stage exam. He reiterates that whoever obtains a yellow badge within 7 days will become a group leader. Then the meeting is adjourned. I'm thinking about taking the demonic dragon orb. First, a group of people surrounds me. I don't understand what they want. Iabun steps forward and asks them what business they have with his lord. The 4 members of Group 8 from the second stage exam protect me from behind. I think to myself, Iabun is pretty good. Last night in the barracks of Group 8, Iabun was recruiting the other members. But they thought following Chan Yoin was too dangerous and asked Yoban if he wasn't afraid of facing the 6 major sects. Yoban, of course, is very afraid, but living as a minor sect, humbling himself as a lackey his whole life. He is willing to take a risk. If we follow the Lord, perhaps humble people like us will have hope. The 3 repeatedly ask Yoban if he truly believes in Xiang Yoyun. Yoban's answer is absolutely firm. The 3 also decide to take a risk with him. Ma Chil Wangchen and Hu Damayang swear unwavering loyalty to Lord Xiang Yoyun. I tell Yoban to step aside. The other party introduces himself politely as student number 857, Go Wangye, and praises my bravery. He gets straight to the point and says he wants to join my team. I am slightly surprised for a moment. However, I only need 7 more members. Nuvde Elos Tendran Quedar Marchetras. Gowan Jai states that he is from the upper sect, the demonic fist sect, which is already at the first tier, and that he will not be a burden to the team. The others also express that their strength is not lacking either. 5 of the people gathered here are from the upper sects. Do the remaining 11 have to compete for those 2 spots? Although there are so many people applying to become members of my team, I have something to say. First of all, I am not looking for members just to pass the third stage exam. What I am looking for are people who, when in the future I face difficulties and dangers in this sect, can shed blood with me and overcome everything as comrades, as expected. Fear makes no one willing to get involved in the succession battle. I explain that if they are on my team, it doesn't matter if they are from the upper sect or the small sect, or medium, because at the end of the path we walk together, the current scale and reputation are meaningless. I will change the 6 main pillars of our sect. These people think I'm crazy. This is no different than declaring war on the 6 major sects. Become my comrade and stay by my side. Become the new backbone of the heavenly demonic divine cult. That's the kind of teammate I, Jiaban, want. The risk is too great. Almost everyone chooses to leave. Jiaban thinks he's finished, as it would have been better to wait until after he was recruited. But then he realizes that 3 people haven't left. From the upper tier, the demonic fist sect, student Goenui. From the middle tier, the Golden Gate sect, So Min. From the middle tier, the Wu family sword sect, or Yon. Gowan Yui has met other successor candidates, but this is the first time he has seen someone like me. The path I described is too dangerous. It could push everyone with me into a desperate situation. He also wanted to give up at first. I understand that, as a member of an upper-tier sect, he has the means to support successor candidates with a higher chance of winning. But as a martial artist, he naturally dreams of dominating the martial world. After hearing my ambition, he is unconsciously attracted. Go Wang Wei. I swear loyalty to young Master Chen Yo Ban. I wish to become his first sword. He doesn't know that this decision will make him one of the 6 swords of the future demon god, Chen Yo Ban. The other 2 also kneel on one knee. They swear loyalty to young Master Chen Yo Ban. Help in times of need is much more valuable than the icing on the cake. I clench my fists and thank them for their trust. Jabong emphasizes to Go Wang Wei that he is the master's first subordinate. I order everyone to memorize the manual of the 7 demonic swords after taking the demonic dragon orb today. Starting tomorrow morning, train with me. I myself will teach you the techniques of the 7 demonic swords. They are excited. They have chosen the right master. After all, he pays them a lot of attention, while others are busy competing with each other. I think to myself that it's not that difficult, just hit them until they get it. Like my master did. Now each of you go to your personal training room to take the demonic dragon orb. We will regroup at the appointed time. Then Gowan Dewey calls me. He reminds me that it's better for me to move with my subordinates from now on. After all, you now possess a yellow badge. Now that I think about it, the Academy Master said that those who obtained yellow badges within 7 days would become group leaders. But he didn't say we had to take them from the instructors. Compared to student number 1 from the Dark Demon sect, I am weaker and could become a target. I thank Gowan Hui for this good advice. He wants to use the personal training room next to mine. I tell him that I no longer train there. Somehow I have been using the elite training room, a place only for top-tier students. He will quickly reach the highest level, so he will be able to train in the same room as his master. After absorbing the demonic dragon orb, my internal energy surpasses a cycle. I am completely at the highest level. Now with sword and knife techniques added to this base, I should be formidable, thanks to the nanobots regulating my drug tolerance and promoting absorption. The nanobots respond, yes, thanks to me. I wonder, is there no concept of humility in the future? Now show me the saved video of Baek Ji's duel. Stop the video here. Have Nano zoom in on Baek Ji's image here. His face is extremely pale. The blood vessels in his eyes have burst, and he also has red spots all over his neck. He is poisoned. There is no doubt. At that moment, another student challenges an instructor to a duel. The instructor realizes that the person in front of him is also of a higher level, just like him, and not someone he can treat with, only with the 7 demonic swords. And in such a short time, he has mastered the 7 demonic swords. He is also a genius, just like the previous 2 successors of the Sword Demon sect. Chenra Yuchan, there is no longer any need to compete. The instructor rips the yellow badge from his body. Chenra Yuchan now has won. So who will he challenge now? At that moment, Bakhai is eating in the cafeteria of the Demonic Path Academy. Someone sits down in front of him. It's the Sword Demon, SEC successor candidate, Chen Qiangdian. Bakhai doesn't want to listen to his nonsense. He says, irritated, I'm eating. Don't bother me. Although he is annoyed, Chen Qiangdian still tries to hypocritically recruit Bakhai. You seem to have the ambition to become a group leader, to ascend to a higher position than group leader. Bakhai ignores him and devours his food. Chen Qiangdian can hardly resist beating him up, but that would ruin his plan to gather talent. He tells Bakhai to consider this suggestion, which only has benefits and no harm. This is already the 2nd successor candidate to approach Bakhai. The Sword Demon Sect candidate was not only frivolous, but also wanted him to be his bait. But he has no interest in any position, nor does he want to become anyone's subordinate. His only goal is to become stronger. Then another voice politely asks, can we talk for a moment? Beej doesn't even want to look and tells him to get lost. I say, if you don't talk to me now, could you die later? Bakji looks displeased at the person in front of him. This person is not even a successor candidate from the 6 major sects, but he is more arrogant than the previous 2. He coldly asks, do you think you can recruit team members like that? I say, helplessly, it seems you've misunderstood something. Bakji is furious. I have only threatened him. However, I say it's a misunderstanding. I don't want to waste time. I tell him bluntly, it seems you are poisoned. He doesn't understand what nonsense I'm talking about. I calmly explain that during his daytime duel, his face was pale and red spots appeared on his neck. Beiki is confused. After being assigned to Group 12, he has been on guard against Chen Yon from the poisonous demon sect. How is it possible that he is still poisoned, even if he is? What does it have to do with this person? Why tell him all this? He apologizes for his previous rudeness, but says that if he were poisoned, he would not have been able to help but notice it when circulating his energy. Even though I have never practiced martial arts, those symptoms are clearly those of a subtle poison. At that moment, Dr. Buck happily passes by, heading for a meal. I call him from behind. After exchanging a few words, I quietly ask him if he could take this friend's pulse before eating. I have a feeling he's been poisoned. The 3 arrive at the 2nd floor of the infirmary. Dr. Bach tells Baki to breathe through his mouth and inhale the smoke. Breathe shallowly. Instantly he coughs violently, unable to stop. The symptoms manifest in his body. Dr. Baki confirms that, indeed, he has been poisoned with a subtle poison. Baki is confused. When he circulates his energy, he is fine. He hasn't come into contact with anything poisonous and always eats alone. Dr. Buck explains that subtle poison is different from common poison. This poison accumulates in the stomach or lungs and takes effect gradually, ground into a very fine powder. It can poison someone by inhalation while they sleep. Dr. Buck asks if he shares living quarters with anyone skilled in using poisons. On his first day at the Demonic Path Academy, Bakai defeated Chen Yongyang of the poisonous demon sect and sinisterly said that the nails of the members of the poisonous demon sect are like poisoned wine. Bakai realizes that what he muttered then referred to that damned person. But since it was discovered in time, taking the medicine continuously for 7 days can cure him completely. I wonder, aren't the red spots on his neck quite severe? Dr. Bach explains that during combat, the symptoms appeared temporarily because his lungs were stimulated. If the poisoning symptoms were visible, divine doctors would not normally exist. However, he doesn't understand how I know this so clearly. My mother died from a subtle poison. I was also slightly poisoned at that time. Beekage is very grateful that I saved his life. I tell him not to worry about it. I just don't want anyone to die from such a harmful poison at that moment. He senses a powerful killing intent. He doesn't understand what's wrong with me, I say with intense killing intent. I've been looking for the source of the poison. Dr. Bach asks Baki, how about you rest in the infirmary today? It seems your foot is also injured. If you return to your quarters, whoever poisoned you will attack you again. You won't be thinking of taking revenge on him immediately, will you? Bakjai actually has that intention. Detoxification is the priority. I tell him to listen to the doctor first and leave Chen Yom to me. Yoned, I need to have a good talk with him. Now, at this moment, a familiar voice calls me softly. Reborn. Chen Mu Yon transmits his voice to tell me that the person I'm looking for should be in the woods in front of the Marshall Hall barracks. If it's true, I promise to send him to bed with you as thanks. The 2 in front of me don't know what I'm talking about. Chung Wajong expects the madman of the poisonous demon sect and me to fight to the death. No, it would be better if both of us died. The Marshall Hall barracks are where the martial arts instructors stay. There isn't a soul around except Chung Zhang. This is the best place for him to gather poisonous herbs. Thanks to the demonic dragon orb, he has just reached the maximum level. With a few more days of hard work, he will be able to train the demon-breaking poison riding to the 5th level, and his power will increase considerably. That way, even without subtle poison, he will be able to personally finish off Bikai. At that moment, someone behind him asks, what makes you so happy? Sayonijin startles and asks who's there. The voice doesn't sound like a martial arts instructor. The light is too dim to see clearly. I ask, it seems you enjoy playing tricks with subtle poison very much. He doesn't understand how I'm here. And why does this person know about subtle poisons? Those red spots on his neck. Did you think I wouldn't notice? Chen Yongyong doesn't react immediately. Then he remembers something. He starts to laugh maniacally. Your disgusting mother also died from a subtle poison. I don't give him a chance to finish the sentence. This punch hits his face with all its might. The powerful force sends Chen Zhangjam flying like a kite with a broken string. He doesn't stop until he crashes into the rocky wall. A heart-wrenching scream is heard. He uncontrollably vomits large amounts of fresh blood. What just happened? I tell him not to be too scared. The show has just begun. The rules of the demonic path academy make Chinjiang think I'm bragging, but his body can no longer move. I ask, do you know what you have done that you shouldn't have done? He desperately tries to move his body, seeing that Chang Yong remains silent. I tell him the answer. You used that dirty mouth to insult my mother. At that moment, In Hong's hands regain sensitivity. He quickly launches a surprise attack. You provoke a careless commoner. No, the next second his pupils contract sharply. He can't believe he dodged his attack so easily. That punch contained all his strength. I look at him coldly. I exert force in my hand, about to crush his palm. In Hongjiang realizes that this person is serious. He must kill him. I smell something strange. A poisonous gas emerges from Chang Zhang's hand. I quickly move away from him. Xinjiang continues to release poison mercilessly. Half the flesh on my face is corroded. This is the most lethal acid poison that Chang Yong has in his body. Due to how dangerous this poison is, the head of the family warned them not to use it on other sect members. But when his life is in danger, he cannot care about it. At that moment, I get up again. Nano detects highly acidic toxic substances, penetrating the user's face and chest, activating emergency defense mode, neutralizing toxicity and repairing damaged skin. Xinjiang Zhang's expression looks like someone who has seen a ghost. My skin completes its repair in a very short time. He doesn't understand what's happening. Not even a supreme master could do this. Is this person a monster? I was careless. Indeed, I forgot about that poison. The demon sect uses poison, but as much as I think about it, those who use poison like you should not be allowed to live in this world. As Chang Wang opens his mouth, his teeth fall out and he starts to prostrate frantically and beg for mercy. Please spare my life. Please, just this once. I ask if he still wants to live. Beg me to spare your life. Someone who caused my mother to die in such agony still wants to live. This powerful killing intent makes Chiang Hong Young realize that he is really going to die. First, I seal the paralyzing acupuncture point so he can't make any sound. Then I forcefully step on the hand that Chang Wam used to poison me. The bones of this hand instantly turn to dust. I tell him I won't kill him immediately. Today, I don't want to be expelled from the Demonic Path Academy because of trash like you. Han Zhang is instantly overjoyed, thinking he will escape disaster. But I tell him softly, I will make you suffer until you beg me to kill you. So let's start with the bones. After who knows how long, Chen Young doesn't understand how he ended up like this. Why did he use subtle poison on Buck Young? Young's memories flash before his eyes in a rapid succession of images. 6 years ago, he first discovered subtle poison. It was his mother, Lady Buck, who sold subtle poison to a woman wearing a red veil. Less than a year later, news of the death of the sect leader's 7th wife spread throughout the demonic sect. His mother detested that low-born woman, so he rejoiced. But when the cause of death was identified as subtle poison, his father, the sect leader, was furious. Fortunately, the demonic doctor argued that subtle poison does not only exist in the poisonous demon sect, which averted a major catastrophe, but after it was discovered that the chef who cooked for the 7th wife had committed suicide. The real culprit could not be identified. All that was known was that, a year earlier, the chef had had contact with a veiled woman. Because of this incident, his grandfather, the head of the poisonous demon sect, and 6th elder, was removed from his post. His father also broke ties with all the wives of the 6 major sects. She and Yong's mother had no idea that the veiled woman would use subtle poison for such a purpose. She warned Chen Yong to keep this secret in her heart until death. Otherwise, even you will be looked down upon by your father. Finally, his mother developed a heart condition and passed away. A few years later, although Chen Yong wanted to shout that his mother had not done it, he could not break the promise he had made to her. From then on, he decided to become the heavenly demon, the divine leader above all others. Find the real culprit, destroy that sect and avenge his mother, and then personally eliminate the root cause of all this. That low-born woman and her son, Chen Ban. Chan Zhang apologizes to his mother in his heart. No matter how much he trained in martial arts, he seemed unable to defeat that crazed monster. If this person remains at the Demonic Path Academy, he will undoubtedly attack other students. Since I cannot kill you, I will destroy your Danshan. Chan Zhang fights terrifiedly trying to say something, and I temporarily release the acupoint that paralyzes him. Chan Zhang can no longer make normal human sounds. I ask Nano to analyze him. Nano analyzes that he is saying that the one who killed your mother was not our poisonous demon sect. Suddenly I am stunned, not understanding what that means. Nano continues to analyze. It says that one of the wives of the 5 major sects is the killer who killed your mother. So please spare my Danshan. I have Nano activate facial analysis and ask Chan Zhongyam, is the killer really among the 5 major sects? Chan Zhongyam nods desperately. Nano detects no significant changes in facial muscle movement. The probability of him lying is less than 5%. I can't believe it. The poisonous demon sect, which I firmly believed was the culprit, is not the killer. Am I taking out my anger on an innocent person? Now I ask Zhang, did your mother really have nothing to do with this matter? Nano detects that, this time, his facial muscles and pupils show changes. The probability of him lying is 75%, just as I thought. He still dares to lie to me, seeing that things are going wrong. Zhang hurriedly says I'm not lying. I hit him hard in the dantian and scold him to shut up. As I channel my internal energy, Chang Hong's dantian gradually breaks apart. The internal energy he has cultivated diligently since childhood is continuously drained. This feeling is more unbearable than death. At that moment in the infirmary, Dr. Bag is also worried. He wonders if he should prepare the herbs for the antidote first. Suddenly, the door is kicked open. I carry the unconscious Jing on my back and plead, Dr. Bak, please. Save him quickly. Both Bak Dai and San Mo Yung are startled. San Mo Yung thinks to himself, this madman, he brought him here. Dr. Bak checks Jing's pulse and discovers his shattered dantian. He is very shocked. Practicing poisonous demonic sex techniques requires the poisonous core formed in the middle dantian to be closely integrated with the internal energy of the lower dantian. When the lower dantian is destroyed, the poisonous gas disperses and naturally causes poisoning symptoms. Although Dr. Bak is not a martial artist, he knows how important the dantian is to them. And although he sensed something was going to happen, he didn't expect it to be so serious. With such deadly poison, a normal person would have already died, only because he practiced poison techniques since childhood. Will he be able to hold on? Dr. Bak doesn't know what to do for a moment. After searching, he finally finds the antidote. The pill is made by the master. He warns Chen Jian that although it will feel like he is dying, he must swallow it if he wants to live. I curse silently for not being able to let him die like this. I ask Nano if it cannot temporarily transfer to Chen Yong's body to detoxify him personally. Nano clearly affirms that the user's genetic information is registered and cannot be transferred to others or expelled from the body. Then I realize that I have Chen Yong's blood in me. I ask Nano if it can analyze the poison components using this blood. Nano tells me to touch the substance to be analyzed with my finger. Nano analyzes that there are 7 toxic substances mixed, which releases a new toxicity. I look at the medicine cabinet in front of me and tell Nano to quickly formulate an antidote. Dr. Buck uses the antidote pill and his master's needles to suppress the spread of the poison. Suddenly, he smells a medicinal decoction. He lifts the curtain and finds me working on something. I tell him I'm preparing an antidote in a hurry. Dr. Buck doesn't understand what nonsense I'm talking about. Although these are all detoxifying herbs, improper handling can turn them into poison. He tries it and finds the formula to be perfect. He wonders if this person studied medicine. Dr. Beck says the combination of herbs and dosage are fine, but he needs to know what poison it is first. I accurately name the 7 poisons in Chen Jian-young's body. I ask Dr. Beck to trust me. Just this once, Chen Jian-young swallows the entire antidote. It seems that, after all, he doesn't want to die. Dr. Bach tells me that the preparation is correct, but next time I should remember to explain it beforehand. I sincerely bow and apologize to Dr. Bach. Dr. Bach still doesn't understand if it was necessary to destroy Sudanshan, although the Demonic Path Academy is a place where the strong prey on the weak. This seems excessive. Not only the Academy Master, but more importantly, the poisonous demon sect will not let this go. How do you plan to deal with the consequences? I thank him for his concern. I take full responsibility for my actions. Dr. Bach thinks to himself that this person is still too young, although he always acts maturely. He still has the naivete of youth. He tells me it's better to think 3 times before acting. If you stay in the sect long enough, you'll find that survivors aren't the strong, but the intelligent ones. I hope you can be more sensible. It's getting late. He tells me to go back first. Seeing this, Bakji also asks, what about me? I leave the infirmary with a firm stride. I've been obsessed with getting stronger. Thanks to Nano, I become stronger. But before I thought that in the demonic sect full of undercurrents, only the strong can overcome everything. But was that just my arrogance? Bakji watches me from behind, not knowing what I'm thinking. He asks me why I destroyed Sudanshan. I calmly reply that at that moment I couldn't control my anger. Besides, I thought that if I let him go, he would undoubtedly target other students. Bakh is stunned by this answer. Although his judgment is not strong enough, his way of thinking differs from other successor candidates. An idea instantly appears in Bakji's mind. He is about to say something when other voices interrupt him. My followers couldn't find me for a long time and worried that I had been attacked. I apologize to them. I have made them worry. Bong didn't expect that person to actually have his own people. He thinks that even if I go to Group 12 Quarrels now, nothing good will come of it. Beej says goodbye. I'm leaving. I wonder, weren't you going to say something just now? He tells me not to worry about it. Yaban asks me to go to the new assigned barracks too. I tell them what happened tonight. Bong believes that the master's actions have their reasons, but now is still a time to cultivate strength. Although external interference in the demonic path academy is prohibited for 4 years, the opponent is one of the pillars of the sect, one of the 6 major sects. Who knows what methods they will use to harm you? Master, you must take care of yourself and conserve your strength. Eo, Bon echoes his opinion, thinking that, despite appearances, Gawangui is quite practical. I also understand that, because I have truly earned a mortal enemy in the poisonous demon sect. So I have to be prepared. In comparison, Eoban is more concerned about how the Academy Master will handle this matter. For martial artists, the Danshin is equivalent to life. It's my fault. I couldn't control my anger and acted without a complete plan. The next morning, I'm taken to the Academy Master's office. What I was worried about has happened. I respectfully greet the Academy Master. The Academy Master does not speak. He just writes something. I stand still silently. Who knows how much time passes? The Academy Master finally puts down the brush. He complains, "Thanks to you, writing the incident report has taken quite some time. Don't feel offended that I haven't responded to you." He tells me to sit there. Li Huanmian says, "Let's settle the official matters first." As the master of the Demonic Path Academy, let me say a few words. Destroying the Danshin of a martial artist, which is equivalent to his life, is something that has never happened in the long history of the Demonic Path Academy. It's complete nonsense. If it is overlooked, Li Guamian fears that other foolish people will repeat it. He orders student number 7, Chen Yo Ban, to return the yellow badge and reflect in solitude in the confinement cave for 5 days. I didn't expect the punishment to be so light. I thought I would be eliminated. Li Guamian states that only suspending the exam or killing other students in official duels requires leaving the Demonic Path Academy. Hearing this, I can't help but feel relieved. However, Li Wama Young warns me that returning the yellow badge means being stripped of the group leader position, and that being locked in the confinement cave for 5 days means I only have 1 day left to obtain the yellow badge again. Suddenly, I am surprised to think that probably no instructor will have yellow badges. Li Eguam Mayang thinks to himself that, in principle, this person should reflect for at least 7 days. I consider this a small opportunity I am giving you. Li Eguamian's aura suddenly erupts. The powerful energy makes my whole body burn. With my level, I cannot measure it at all. Next, Li Eguamian will speak as a sect veteran, not as an academy master. About your foolish behavior, Li Guamian uses his energy to isolate external sounds, because if the following words are leaked, things will get very difficult. Li Guamian, frustrated by his unrealized potential, he says, "I thought you would be someone who would achieve great things, but you did something worse than trash. I am completely disappointed. This is how you do things. You cause trouble and don't clean up your mess." Li Hua, my young master's words confuse me. He warns me, if you're going to do it, don't leave loose ends. But you carelessly left him alive, sowing future trouble. It's foolishness. The consequence of poor cleanup is death. If you want to survive, be smarter. Don't just look at the next step. Think about what will come after. Dr. Beck's on the count, the academy. The master's words make me realize I'm still immature. Li Guamian asks, "What is your purpose in entering the Demonic Path Academy?" I lift my head again, I answer, "To be stronger than anyone else." Li Guamian continues to ask, "Are hatred and anger the driving forces that push you to survive and keep getting stronger? But you are a successor candidate. As a successor candidate, you must remain immersed in hatred and anger until you reach the goal. Your anger will destroy everything in the end. Even you will be reduced to ashes." These words make my heart beat wildly. Li Quan Mayung asks seriously, "Do you understand?" I answer with some uncertainty, "I think I understand." Li Quan Mayung stands up and continues, "If you are determined to survive here and become the future of the cult, you must have a burning heart but a cold head. Otherwise, forget about revenge. I understand that the Academy Master is right. I only think about revenge. Ultimately, I just want to eliminate the 6 great clans that killed my mother. But what will come after? Revenge is only part of my path forward. It is not the destination. I am not calm enough." Li Umejong sees that this person is not completely foolish and can still listen to reason. If he understands his flaws and improves them, the heavenly demonic divine cult will give birth to an unprecedented true monster. And what will help him grow will not be the teachings of that drunkard, but these sincere words that I have spoken. The energy that isolated the sound disappeared. I take out the yellow badge. I clench my fists and thank the Academy Master for his guidance. Li Guamian immediately orders this person to be taken to confinement immediately. Soon a notice about me is posted. The students discuss among themselves, "Has he gone crazy?" Suddenly, a mocking laugh is heard. The sword demon, Jinryu Chan's sex successor candidate. He can't help but smile, thinking that this person has truly gone mad. How did he even think of destroying Danchan? At first, I thought a triple confrontation would form. Now it seems there's no need to worry about that, as he will take the initiative himself. The sword demon sect successor candidate, Chen Young, also smiles to himself. The dark demon's EC successor candidate, Chen Young, remains silent. No one knows what he's thinking. My team members are discouraged, not knowing what to do. Go thinks to himself that, even when the master returns, there will only be one day left. By then, we may have to snatch badges from other groups at that time. A voice breaks the silence. Unexpectedly, Baek Ji appears the next day. First thing in the morning, in the confinement cave, I continue to practice the supreme sword technique on the blue jade stone. 2 days have already passed. I still have to eat this bitter and hard thing for 3 more days. I don't know if it's because it's damp and stuffy, but I'm sweating profusely. Probably a normal student wouldn't last a day here, although this is narrower than a personal training room. At least no one is watching inside. At that moment, the stone door suddenly opens. I wonder it's not time to open the door yet. And who is this person? Why does he radiate such killing intent towards me? The visitor slowly raises his hand. My body instantly loses control and floats in the air. His empty grip. The person says sinisterly, "So you are Chen Ban. Last night, Cheng Hong was sent back to the poisonous demon sect's estate." The poisonous demon sect. Lord Bako sees the report and trembles with rage. The other elders unanimously agree that they cannot stand by and wait for that person to leave the demonic path academy. They devise various methods to execute him. But Bako understands what the poisonous demon sect came to seek after Lady Hwas's death 6 years ago. After that incident, the sect leader kept his distance from the 6 major sects and tried to weaken their power whenever he found a reason to do so. He understands that harming a student who entered the demonic path academy would give the sect leader that reason. Bako plans to personally meet with the left guardian. At this moment, Bako is firmly suppressing me. Not even using all my internal power can I resist. I understand that this is a master with unfathomable skill. Intense hostility radiates boiling, killing intent. Although I don't know how such a master appeared in the confinement cave, he undoubtedly has ill intentions towards me. I start to tense my muscles with all my might. Bako is also surprised. This person is not using internal energy, but brute force to resist. Is there anyone with such strong external cultivation? Bako knows this cannot continue. He grabs me tightly by the neck. Nano senses the threat and is about to activate emergency defense mode. I quickly tell him to wait. A hasty confrontation will cause internal injuries. This person clearly has a purpose in coming after me. Bako, I didn't expect the one who did that to his grandson to be so impressive. Only now do I understand that this person is the strange, poisonous demon of the poisonous demon sect. Bako is surprised. This person is only 18 years old. Before dying, he shows no trace of fear, but rather a vein of cruelty. He thinks that it seems he still needs a lesson. He hits me hard and throws me against the stone wall. Immediately after, Biko continues to channel his energy, and I fall back into his hands. Biko thought this would end his arrogance. However, his cruelty does not diminish at all. He thinks that if he lets this person go, there will undoubtedly be serious consequences in the future. The strength in Bako's hand gradually increases. I ask, do you want to violate the sect's rules and kill me? Bako scoffs, if I kill you and destroy all evidence with acid poison, who do you think will notice? I calmly reply, traces can be erased, but if I disappear, the demon sect will be the first suspect. Naturally, Bako assures me, the moment you leave the demonic path academy, I will make you suffer unimaginable pain, I will tear you to pieces, I will subject you to death by 1,000 cuts, and I will feed you to the wild beasts. Then I will destroy your danchan, and even your last breath. You will beg me to kill you. Bako channels his energy again. He forces my mouth open. This time, he uses sound transmission to tell me he's going to give me a small gift, so that you can join me soon. He forces me to swallow something. Bako continues with the sound transmission, saying this poison will not endanger your life. But if you tell anyone that you swallowed the pill, even if only suspicious, I will kill you without hesitation. Bako turns around and says, we will meet again in the future. He leaves the confinement cave without further ado. I stare fixedly at his retreating figure. Li Guamian asks Bako, didn't we have an agreement? Bako apologizes. I couldn't help but give him a small lesson, but not enough to cause him internal injuries. Don't worry about it. Le Huamian sighs. He reminds Bako that he must remember the agreement not to harm him during these 4 years at the Demonic Path Academy. Bako tells him not to worry. Le Huamian turns to look at the confinement cave. He thinks to himself, I can only protect you from external harm for 4 years. After that, your survival will depend on yourself. Chinyo Ban. Nano detects toxic substances entering the body through the user's esophagus. I hastily tell him to expel them immediately, but Nano affirms that the effect of the poison is to disperse part of the energy. If the toxic components are removed, it can stimulate the Danshin and activate energy like the demonic dragon ore. I understand that Vako wants to weaken my internal energy so that I will fail the third stage exam and be eliminated from the demonic path academy. I am truly sorry. If I didn't have Nano inside me, I would have to follow your plan. Nano quickly extracts the toxic components and expels them from the body. The intense foul smell makes me cover my nose. Sagan Nano, the remaining substance, can produce the same effect as the demonic dragon orb. I begin to circulate energy using the unlimited heaven technique. Nano also begins to stimulate the user's metabolism to maximize the drug's effectiveness. Absorption completed. I slowly open my eyes. It's truly incredible. My internal energy cycle has increased to 1.5 cycles. It's strange. The poisonous demonic staff has practically given me a great gift. But again, Zen Nano, there would really be a big problem. It's all due to my poor judgment, so I decide not to make reckless decisions again. After cleaning myself with my upper garment, this clothing can no longer be used. My greatly increased internal energy allows me to intensely feel a slight breeze behind me. At that moment, I notice a crack in the stone wall. I recall the strange sound that occurred when I hit the stone wall. It sounded hollow inside. I hit the crack twice without even using much force. It crumbles. It seems so. A little more and I will be able to pass through here. After digging for a while, I finally managed to get through. I expected to find a more spacious cave. It turns out to be a passageway leading somewhere. I have Nano activate night vision mode. It seems this place was deliberately sealed. I suspect something might be hidden here. Nano detects a faint luminescence inside the passageway. Could it be luminous pearls? I think to myself. As I reach the end, it gradually lights up. I have Nano disable night vision mode. The end of the passageway is unexpectedly spacious and bright. I never imagined such a place could be hidden inside the confinement cave. The exit from there is sealed. It is truly an abandoned place at that moment. I notice some markings on the ground. They look like stone monuments, and there is more than one. Instantly, a theory comes to mind. I have Nano display a holographic image of the blue jade stone monument from the first floor of the secret manual library. Then I ask Nano to analyze if the markings on the ground match the location of this monument. Nano quickly completes the comparison and confirms that this is where the first floor monument was originally located. I have Nano continue to analyze the original location of the second floor monument. The location of the second floor monument is quickly determined. Indeed, this is where those blue jade stone monuments were originally located. But I don't understand why they didn't move all those monuments to one place instead of displaying them on different floors. And what exactly is that stone peak? On the front of the stone peak are 4 bold characters, Heavenly Demon Sword Art. When one thinks of the sect leader, the strongest member of the heavenly demonic divine cult, everyone thinks of a martial art. This is the heavenly demonic divine art called unrivaled divine technique and unrivaled of the demonic path. It is one of the 3 great divine arts of the martial world, but I have never heard of the heavenly demon sword art. I don't even know if it's an internal cultivation method or a sword technique. According to Garg Hang, the first martial art the sect leader mastered was called Heavenly Demon Sword Technique. Could that be the name of the supreme sword technique that appears on the blue stone monuments? After comparing the text on the stone peak with the poetry on the monuments, Nano discovers that the handwriting is identical. I recall that the guard warrior on the first floor of the secret manual library once said that it was rumored that the monuments contained the sword technique with the ideas of the heavenly demon ancestor. I finally understand the true name of the supreme sword technique that contains the latest ideas of the heavenly demon ancestor. It is the heavenly demon sword art. There are also some holes in the stone peak that resemble an ascending dragon. I begin to reflect on what this means. Could it be related to the number of holes? Once again, there are 24 holes in total. Apart from the fact that the heavenly demonic sword has 24 forms, I find no connection. There must be something. Why would the holes be shaped like an ascending dragon? Suddenly, inspiration strikes me, since it's shaped like an ascending dragon. Could the secret be in the sky? A vast expanse of dazzling luminous pearls that blind the eyes. I deduce that, instead of using darkness, they used light to hide the secret. Thinking backwards, since nothing our ancestors left behind is easy to obtain, I ask Nano, can you adjust the light entering my field of vision? Nano adjusts the light through luminous vision mode. I finally discover that there are small characters engraved on those luminous pearls. So that's what it is. I have Nano scan all the luminous pearls with inscriptions. It displays them as holographic images, so I can see them up close, and then separate the luminous pearls with martial art formulas or related content. Nano reports the discovery of phrases and diagrams resembling cultivation formulas on 24 luminous pearls. The sight before me makes my heart race, so that's what those carved dots on the stone peak meant. I have Nano remove everything else, leaving only the 24 luminous pearls. I unexpectedly discover that, although these are cultivation formulas, they do not require circulating internal energy to specific acupuncture points while performing movements, as technique formulas do. Furthermore, these movements are identical to one of the 24 forms of the heavenly demon sword art. This is truly incredible. These are all forms of the heavenly demon sword art. Generally, cultivation formulas for circulating internal energy are practiced, sitting cross-legged or lying in a position that facilitates breathing. I have transferred the formulas engraved on the luminous pearls and the corresponding movements in order from the dragon's head to its tail. I begin to breathe while circulating eternal energy to the aku points, as instructed by the formulas. Nano detects a powerful energy, rapidly circulating through the 14 meridians of my body. Nano begins data analysis and storage. Outside the confinement cave, the instructor yawns boredly. Tirelessly, I practice the luminous pearl cultivation method. Without knowing how much time has passed, my speed continues to increase. After who knows how long, I ask Nano how long I've been doing this. Nano tells me I've been moving non-stop for 4 hours. After 4 hours of movement, not only do I not feel tired, but I feel revitalized. Each repetition makes the internal energy circulate faster. Nano explains to me that the energy circulation is accelerating. Is that so? Then let me try to simply circulate internal energy. It's definitely faster. As the internal energy circulation accelerates, I can also release energy more freely. The unlimited heaven technique cannot even compare to this. This is truly a supreme cultivation method, integrating forms, techniques, and cultivation methods into one. I think I know why it's called sword art. The heavenly demon ancestor was truly a divine being. I respectfully kneel, thinking, Ancestor, your descendant is still deficient. Please accept this bow from your descendants. 4 days after my confinement, Chinryu Chan, the sword successor candidate of the demonic sex, seized 4 yellow badges. Chang Zhongjong, the sword demonic sex successor candidate, seized 2 yellow badges. Sima Su, student number 700 of the Zieg sect, has 2 badges. Besides them, 7 other students have 1 badge each. Now only Yujin Chang. Instructor Marcel Jif still has 1 badge. What Go Wan Jai was worried about has finally happened. Aoban is displeased that those 3 have collected so many badges, and yet no one can criticize them or confiscate their badges. This almost endangered our group, but it has also served to weed out some people. Wanchin and Achio de Mayang, who once swore to serve their lord loyally, abandoned the group without hesitation after their lord was punished. The scene falls silent for a moment, seeing that the atmosphere was too grim. Jobin encourages everyone not to think so negatively. 2 bad ones are gone, but we haven't gained back Jai. What can fight against himself in the solo? Back Jai replies wordlessly, don't flatter me. Go Wang Jai, thank you, says Back Jai. Without you, we and our lord would have fallen into an even greater crisis. The others also express their gratitude. If Back Jai had not defeated the martial instructor and obtained the badge 4 days ago, everyone would have dispersed. Back Jai says that he only owes the student number 7 a lot and wants to help him, but he doesn't know if he will accept it. Goenyi states, if our lord were dissatisfied with you, there would be no reason to help you. Right, everyone decides to practice the 7 demonic swords more before dinner to alleviate their lord's burden. At dinner time, Biki leaves alone. He says he doesn't usually eat lunch, only dinner. Thanks to all of you, I had lunch. In that case, Goenyi will not eat either. Although Biki is the temporary leader, Go Wen, yes, still wants to protect him. Biki explains that he is going directly to the personal training room. There is no need to worry. Anyway, after leaving the training room, everyone will return to the barracks together. He tells Go when yet to go eat. The other members can see that this glutton is in conflict. Ajahn suggests that he and Jobin accompany him to eat. The 2 decide happily. Jobin thinks to himself, I didn't say I agreed. They quickly catch up. Ajahn says, we cannot allow you to be beaten everywhere. Our temporary leader, Bakai, chuckles. He says, if you are so worried about student number 7's departure, you won't be able to eat well. They soon arrive at the personal training room. Biki is the first to notice that something is wrong. He protects the 2 who have not yet reacted behind him. Suddenly, a large group emerges from the shadows. They completely surround the 3 of them. Bijai notices that these people are carrying wooden swords. It seems they prepared and waited for us here. Someone comes out from the crowd. It is none other than Yi Jaimin, who holds a grudge against his lord. Bijai's former comrades sarcastically tell him that he abandoned his comrades and seems quite happy with others. Ojun asks angrily, "What are you doing?" Ijimin coldly replies, "Hand over the yellow badge." But how could Bijai obey him? However, Ijimin knows that they are the lackeys of the damned student number 7, and that, even if they handed over the badge directly, he wouldn't let it go. Biki doesn't know what to do for a moment, although he has reached the maximum level. It is not enough to face 30 students with first-level internal energy. Moreover, this guy named Ijimin is undoubtedly at a similar level. Biki uses sound transmission to tell Ajun to take the yellow badge and escape with Iyaban. He will find a way to entertain these people. Ajun is not stupid and knows that this is the best option at that moment. Jimin sees that they are using sound transmission for some trick. He orders the others to attack. Bakjai quickly rips off the yellow badge. He sticks it on Iyaban. He won't let these guys who use dirty tricks get away with it. "Guys, if you are not satisfied with me, your former leader, I apologize." Jimin sees that Bakjai, like him, has just reached the maximum level because his footwork energy is not yet very evident. BG opens a gap and tells Yaban and Ajun to run fast, of course. They are not going to pass up this opportunity. The pursuers also focus on the bald guy carrying the yellow badge. Yaban turns around and shouts angrily at these lunatics. "Who are you calling bald?" Bakjai irritably tells him to shut up and run. The pursuers are closely following the two from behind. Ojang sees that Iyaban's lightness skill is too slow to get rid of those guys. He stops abruptly and tells Iyaban to give him the badge. The two separate and flee. Iyaban uses all his internal energy with the intention of going to the dining hall to tell Go Wanjai. He looks back but sees no one pursuing him. At that moment, Go Wanjai is finishing his 7th plate of rice. He wonders why Iyaban is drenched in sweat and not wearing his hairband. Ioban, panting, tells them what happened in the training room. Go Wanjai hurriedly gets up to offer his help. What he was worried about has finally happened. Go Wanjai races to the training room at full speed. Oyeon has already fallen. Only Bakjai remains, facing a group alone. It seems that Guy orchestrated the ambush. Go Wanjai asks angrily, "What is this?" Chenryu-chan touches his neck disdainfully. He says in a somber tone, "The annoying one has arrived." Go Wanjai asks, "Are you so many in the ambush and still able to say such things?" A hand rests on his shoulder. Bakjai tells him to calm down. The one who attacked us was not that guy. Chenryu-chan tells BJ to remember that he owes him a favor. Now the badge has been confiscated, and there is no opportunity to think about it carefully. Bakjai replies that, although he helped him, he has not changed his mind. Chenryu-chan tells him to think about it calmly. Anyway, there is still plenty of time. Everyone else is gone. Go Wanjai finally sits on the ground, exhausted. Bakjai apologizes to everyone. In the end, the yellow badge was removed. Oyeon endured until the end to protect the yellow badge. Iyaban can't help but curse those damned guys. Go Wanjai asks Bakjai what happened. It turns out that, although Oyeon took Iyaban's yellow badge and fled desperately, in the end, he was caught by more than 20 students who took his badge. Biki's strength can suppress Jimin in a one-on-one fight, but the opponent doesn't give him the opportunity to face him in a one-on-one combat. Just when everything was about to end, Chenryu-chan happened to pass by with his group members. He told Jimin, "That guy is the talent I've been looking for, how about you give him to me?" Jimin, irritated, told the guy that he didn't have enough people to mind his own business and to get lost. Hearing this, Chenryu-chan flexed his finger slightly. In an instant, he knocked down the lackeys blocking his path and appeared before Jimin. Chenryu-chan looked at him with amusement. He asked what use are a few more puppets. "Do you want to continue?" Seeing that the situation was getting ugly, Jimin ordered a retreat. Biki knows that he owes Kyan Ryu-chan a favor. He asks Biki that it must be difficult to find yellow badges. "Now, do you want to become my subordinate?" Biki, naturally, rejected that proposal. Go Wanjai understands that Kyan Ryu-chan urgently needs talent for the succession battle. Biki is frustrated. The problem is that there is no solution. Now a group member suggests, "How about we also gather the students and counterattack in the same way? But then we shouldn't look for our Lord's people, but for members who only care about profits." Gobgi knows that this goes against his Lord's wishes. Then there is only one method left. But Biki understands that it is impossible to snatch the badge from the chief martial instructor. Even other successor candidates avoid him. Go Wen, now you know that they can only rely on their lord. Yaban plans to send Ohang to the infirmary first and then return. No matter what, he still wants to say something. "I trust our lord as much as you do." Go Wen, but constantly relying on him doesn't seem right to me. Subordinates must act as subordinates and do what subordinates should do. Right, if there's really no other way. Until our lord comes out tomorrow, How about we recruit some more students who can become subordinates? Did you hear that? Go Wen-jai's expression darkens. Ioban feels a bit embarrassed and asks if he has spoken too harshly. Go Wen-jai laughs and praises Ioban for being right as a subordinate. Of course, they must work hard for their lord. Ioban, you are truly the #1 subordinate. The others also praise Ioban for being correct and saying useful things from time to time. The next morning at 7 a.m., the martial instructor announces that student number 7's punishment is over. I slowly open my eyes after my meditative trance. Both martial instructors are somewhat surprised. This kid's body is really perfect. The key is that this kid, who has been trapped alone in the cave for 5 days, has even more lively eyes than before the confinement. Willie Pyong asks me why I'm not wearing a shirt. I take out the smelly clothes. He gets annoyed and asks me, what the hell did I do to this clothing? The other instructor enters the confinement cave, looks around and says there's nothing out of the ordinary. I breathe a sigh of relief. Fortunately, he didn't see the hole blocked with stones. I ask how many yellow badges are left. Lin Pyong feels somewhat satisfied. This kid hasn't stopped responding. There is one left, and needless to say whose hands that yellow badge is in. Lin Pyong reminds me that I must be very clear that it is not the only option. I also understand that it would be simpler to take the yellow badges from other students. But I call the instructor. I want to go see Instructor Yujin Chan right now. Lin Pyong can't help but doubt that he misheard. The other instructor asks me if I've gone mad. Where does that arrogance come from? Do what is within your power. Lin Pyong also tells me not to be reckless. Haste is a bad advisor. Act prudently. I thank them for their advice, but I still hope they will give me this opportunity. Opportunity? Lin Pyong thinks to himself. Has this guy learned nothing from this punishment? Seeing me so stubborn, Pyong has no choice. He reminds me to avoid injuring myself, because if I don't, there will really be no opportunity. I clench my fists and say, I will keep that in mind. Ioban is trying to recruit others to become subordinates of student number 7, but they don't even have a yellow badge. Now no one respects them, leaving Ioban disheveled in the wind. This is already his 4th refusal. In that case, he plans to keep looking. A crowd gathers in the large training field. Ioban walks by wondering what happened the next moment. He sees the person he has been thinking about day. At night, his lord Chinjoam. No one knows what I'm doing here. Instructor Jifusen Chanseo. I didn't expect one of the guys I wanted to train with the most to come to him. I respectfully bow to the chief instructor. He asks me if I want a wooden sword or to fight barehanded. I choose the latter. Only then do the others react. Realizing that this is a challenge, Bon can't help but start to sweat cold. The chief instructor gets ready. His powerful aura makes the other students wonder how anyone could defeat him. Because of this punishment, I have lost a lot. To gain the support of the students, I must reverse the situation. The chief instructor gestures for me to attack first. I clench my fist and ask the instructor for guidance. In the demonic cult, where strength reigns supreme, demonstrating one's power is most effective. I charge forward, closing the distance with the instructor. The speed is so fast that even the instructor is surprised. But he has already grasped all the sword movements of the person in front of him. However, I don't use sword techniques. Instead, I use sword forms to fight the instructor. Faced with sudden sword techniques, the instructor is surprised. The two exchange multiple rounds. The instructor sees that the person in front of him has broken down the sword dance techniques into individual forms. This is not simple improvisation. To be able to execute sword forms at this level in actual combat, the instructor knows that he can increase the difficulty. His body produces an intense hum. The instructor simultaneously executes 4 techniques of the 7 demonic swords. Other students finally witness the 7 demonic swords executed at the highest level. I use the heavenly demon sword art to face them. The observing students are left speechless. Shocked, this guy perfectly received the instructor's 4 sword techniques and becomes even fiercer. This also exceeds the chief instructor's expectations. He understands that he cannot block sword techniques at this level. He must use true protective energy, but the sword energy has already entered his body. It's too late. I manage to send the instructor flying. The entire stadium falls silent. The chief instructor turns and lands. I did it just as the holographic image showed. In fact, the 7 demonic swords are similar to the sword techniques of destruction. The chief instructor's body emits a hum again. His aura remains. I know the fight is not over. The chief instructor used all his internal power to overcome the sword's force. He understands that, with a real sword, he could only accept death, even though he did not use his ultimate technique. He also did not hold back. The chief instructor is somewhat angry. To give everything in battle, one must give everything. He expelled the energy of my sword very quickly. I've heard that masters who reach the highest level can expel the energy of others that has invaded their bodies. Indeed, taking the initiative with the heavenly demonic sword art does not end the combat. The chief instructor's aura is more powerful than ever. He wants to have a real fun. Suddenly, his body stirs. His clenched fist suddenly opens. I don't understand why he suddenly lost his fighting spirit. The chief instructor smiles. He praises me for being truly amazing. Leaping progress seems to describe you perfectly. The instructor rips off the yellow badge. He thinks to himself that perhaps a monster beyond imagination will be born in this sect. The instructor places the yellow badge in my hand. He announces that today this instructor admits his defeat. You are fully qualified to be a group leader. I am stunned for a moment. And then, emotionally, I thank the instructor. No one imagined that someone could take the chief instructor's yellow badge. A great stir occurs throughout the arena. Jobin runs over with tears in his eyes. I pat them. I'm sorry for making you worry. The chief instructor observes the scene lost in thought. At that moment, someone else calls me by my name. I don't understand why Baek Jai is calling me. And why is he so hesitant? Is there something urgent? Baek Jai falls to his knees with a thud. Yevon and I are completely confused. I ask him bewilderedly why he is doing this. Baek Jai looks very ashamed. He says loudly, "Thank you very much. Thanks to young Master Chen Yo Uni, student number 18. He saved my life from the clutches of the poisonous demon sect." The observing students murmur. So the poisonous demon sect poisoned student number 18. He continues to see young Master Sean Joam, who helped me to be confined in suffering. How could he not be moved? I am lost, not understanding why this awkward tone. Only now do the other students learn that student number 7 was punished because of student number 18. Biki's face turns purple. He shouts loudly, "Student number 18, Beek, as a subordinate, will work even harder to help young Master Kyan." Did he only react then? Is this something Plank came up with? The spectators discuss among themselves. Student number 7 went this far to protect his subordinate. Go Wanjai uses sound transmission to praise Beek Ji for doing well. Although the script was a bit awkward, Beek Ji replies only this time, "Doing as you said." Lin Pyong follows the chief instructor, worried about how he is. The chief instructor laughs. "That guy has all that strength." Lin Pyong exclaims in amazement. "What an incredible guy, what an amazing sword." Did the right guardian also teach him that sword technique? The chief instructor finds it difficult to say that the right guardian is a supreme master. It is undoubtedly very possible. Lin Tiong doesn't understand why a master famous for his sword techniques would insist on teaching sword techniques to a disciple. The chief instructor tells him to go back first. He wants to get some air. He goes up to the roof and meets the academy master. If Li Wan Niang hadn't passed it on, I would have hardly been able to control myself. Li Huan Miang expresses his understanding. After all, who wouldn't react like that to such sword techniques? The chief instructor fought hundreds of battles with orthodox and unorthodox factions in his youth. And of course, he fought alongside the sect leader on numerous occasions. He believes that, as a guardian, if the academy master helps the sect leader daily, he should know better than himself. Chan Yan's sword techniques in combat clearly resemble the sect leader's heavenly demonic sword technique, and they are even more chilling. The heavenly demonic sword technique is the ultimate technique created by the heavenly demon, the founding ancestor of the demonic cult. It is the first sword technique of the demonic path that is only passed down to the cult leaders. Li Wama Yung understands the sword techniques he just saw, and although at first glance they are very similar to the heavenly demonic sword technique, they are even more excellent. This boy's swordsmanship actually surpasses the heavenly demonic sword technique that symbolizes the sect leader. Li Wama Yung immediately thinks of the blue jade stone monuments that, according to rumors, contain the latest revelations of the heavenly demon. But the back of the monument was damaged. He has looked at it several times, but it is impossible to comprehend. The chief instructor is about to express his speculation. Li Guamian stops him and orders him to keep this matter secret. For now, the chief instructor knows that the academy master thinks the same. It seems this is the best approach. For now, student number 220 approaches me. She has heard the story of my sacrifice for my subordinate and is deeply moved. I have heard that you recruit talented people, regardless of gender or sect. If you accept me, Yu Suengwa, I will loyally serve young Master Chen Zhou Wunan until death. Go Wenyi's face immediately turns red. Back he wonders why he is blushing. Student number 79 also hurriedly kneels, although my martial arts skills are not very good. If you accept me, I will serve you loyally. Sincerely, if martial skills are not strong, they can become so. And more importantly, you are willing to follow me. I thank you very much and welcome you. She immediately prostrates herself in gratitude. Chen Wu, the eldest son of the Chen family, will work hard to help young Master Kyan throughout his life. Iabun says dissatisfiedly that their behavior is excessive. Go Wan-jai and beg Ye think of another Aoban. However, Go Wan-jai thought they would get more attention. The group still needs 3 more people. At this moment, I ask where the other subordinates are. Go Wan-jai suggests going to a quiet place to talk. They tell me what happened in the outside world while I was in the confinement cave. I didn't expect Wang Kaian and Ho Damien to abandon me. Mach 11 and Zhou Ming went to persuade the others. I tell them they worked hard, except for those 2 people. But I wonder why I don't see Oyen, and I see that everyone has a very bad face. I ask alarmedly what happened. After learning how the yellow badge was confiscated, I think to myself, Jimin really is a leopard who cannot change his spots. Backhighs realizes that this guy is a bit different than he was before, although he seems angry. He seems to be suppressing his killing intent to remain calm. It seems he will not act recklessly on his own as before. Goenyi asks me what I plan to do. I understand that, since the Demonic Path Academy encourages students to confiscate badges. Although that guy's behavior was vile, it cannot be said that he did wrong. However, it seems that no one can let this matter go. I announce that, since we have a great debt to that guy, Jimin, we will repay it in full. Baki believes that this guy has really changed. No, at this moment in a secluded place, a large group gathers. The short-haired man in front says, according to the young master's instructions, I have already instigated Jimin to seize Baikai's yellow badge. Jinryu-chan asks in surprise, are you his representative? The short-haired man says, Zhou Pyongag suffered severe internal injuries and was admitted to the infirmary. He wants to keep asking something. Jinryu-chan interrupts him disdainfully. You're just afraid I'll break the agreement. Right. He takes out 2 yellow badges. He asks amusedly, but you haven't fulfilled the agreement yet. Right. Didn't we agree? You would help me get Bakai. Then, where is Baki now? The short-haired man suppresses his anger and asks, what exactly do you want me to do? Jinryu-chan says cheerfully, you don't have to do anything else, it's just that to get Baki. He needs to feel an even more desperate sensation. Isn't there a saying, one does not appreciate sweetness until one has tasted bitterness? He says disdainfully, it seems none of you have the strength to be a group leader. Right, Jinryu-chan calls Jianpai. He will give this guy one more chance. Take this group and deal with Chenjian's group. Confiscate the yellow badge. Do you know how to do it? Right. I hope you don't make stupid mistakes like last time. If you get the yellow badge, you can lead these guys to form a group under my command. The short-haired man finally understands that Jinryu-chan wants them to become his subordinates. This is a curse. Yonpa leads a group to find Ijai Min, who is practicing the 7 demonic swords with his group members. He introduces himself as student number 200, Yonpa. Ijai Min recognizes those behind him as the guys who attacked Urabaki. Yes, he stops his movements and asks, what do you want? Jianpa gets straight to the point, hoping Jimin will help him get a yellow badge. Jimin thinks he's a ridiculous guy. What benefit do I get from helping you get lost? Jianpa asks, what if my target is Chenjian? What do you think? If we get Asia's Jianyun's yellow badge this time, his group will be disbanded. If a group is disbanded twice, who would still follow that leader? In that case, he will naturally be eliminated in the 3rd stage of the trial. Although Jimin wants revenge on Chen Yo-yoon, he heard that that guy took the chief instructor's yellow badge. Apart from cooperating, there is currently no other option. He asks when they need to act. Giona replies right now. This suits Jimin perfectly. Soon, a dark mass of people finds its target in the grove. Jimin scoffs. Wow, you really know how to hide. Always in the corners of the mountains. I was about to go look for this guy. Thank you for coming to me yourself. Jimin doesn't understand why I'm still smiling. He asks me, don't you understand the situation? Idiot. I reply calmly, I should be the one to say that. The short-haired man with the people behind him warns them to drop the wooden swords in their hands. The swords in their hands. His sword is pointed at Yongpa and Jimin. Jimin doesn't understand what's going on for a moment. Let me ask you again, who exactly is the fool? 4 hours ago in the clearing behind the training room, the short-haired man asks, Yu Pyong-hak, are you really going to meet Sean Ryu-chan alone? Yu Pyong-hak replies, as long as we have the yellow badge, we can form our own group. But the short-haired man is worried with just 1 badge. Our 20 people cannot all join the group. There may be disputes still. Zhou Pyongag cannot stand idly by. He knows that to survive in this demonic path academy, all necessary means must be used. If you give up because you are weak, everything is over. But the short-haired man still feels uncomfortable using his former leader. Back high as a bargaining chip, Zhou Pyongag tells him not to worry about what's already done, and that if he becomes the group leader, he promises to get a position for the short-haired man. A voice stops Pyongag, who is about to leave. I arrive here with my group members. Baki asks, bewildered, did you use me as a bargaining chip? They are surprised to see Baki. They wonder if he came to get revenge for yesterday. Go Wenji reprimands angrily for doing such despicable things as ambushing people. Didn't you think about paying a price? The people behind you Pyongyek whisper, we can't provoke that demon-like guy. I heard that Shinjon has already sent several people to the infirmary. Yu Pyongyek turns around and scolds them fools. We have more people, I say, disgusted. You are the extremely foolish one for saying such things in front of me. Suddenly, I grab Pyongyek's hand. I tell myself that I must control my strength. I punch Yu Pyongyek. He flies backward. This scene makes everyone turn pale. Jo Pyongyek immediately foams at the mouth like a dead dog and faints. Yobond asks angrily, where is the yellow badge? Didn't you break all of Ajin's fingers yesterday and take his badge? The short-haired man says, guiltily, it's with student number 108, Iji Ming. Just as expected, that greedy person wouldn't give them the yellow badge. Joe Bond punches the short-haired man hard in the face. Baki tells him to wait. He asks the short-haired man what he means by using him as a bargaining chip. The short-haired man replies, young Master Chenraju-chan of the Sword Demon Sect. He wants to take your badge to put you in danger. Upon hearing Chenraju-chan's name, I pause for a moment. Baki finally realizes that it was all a trap and thinks that he owes that guy a favor. He asks the short-haired man as compensation, did he give you the promised yellow badge? The other lowers his head shamefully and apologizes to Baki. Without hesitation, Baki turns around and insults them, calling them trash. Iabun curses him as a despicable guy. He wants to make him taste the pain Don suffered. Fists rain down on the short-haired man's face. Gobe tells Iabun to wait a moment. He uses sound transmission to ask, Iabun, are you satisfied with torturing this guy alone? Trust me, I will take them all out. He asks the short-haired man, do you believe in the agreement with young Master Chenryu-chan? Do you think he will really give you the yellow badge? The short-haired man thinks that, since it was agreed, it should be fine. Gowani continues to ask, how do you have 20 people? He must have agreed to give you 2 yellow badges. Right, the short-haired man doesn't know how to answer for a moment, and the crowd immediately stirs. Dissatisfied, it won't be just one, will it? Go-Wan-jai says sarcastically, you've been used like this and you're going to fall apart. You are nothing more than pawns in the hands of young Master Kyan Ra-Yu-chan, who can discard you at any time. Right, the other party reacts immediately. They have been manipulated by that damned Kyan Ra-Yu-chan, seeing that he has achieved his goal. Go-Wan-jai reminds them that, if they are truly angry, they should seek revenge. And so we arrive at the current situation. Junpa asks what he is doing. They will not be used for yellow badges. They will never be able to get more. Junpa understands that these people seem to have turned against each other. Yabun scoffs at guys who can't get an instructor's badge because they lack strength, and join together despicably to attack others. But they talk about others sowing discord. Ijimin asks harshly, who are you referring to as lacking strength? You who ran faster than a rat. Gobe laughs heartily. He asks Ijimin, according to your words, no matter what, you won't run away like a rat. Right. Anyway, we weren't planning on letting you go. Jimin doesn't understand how the situation has come to this. Now is not the time to run away alone instead of acting tough. But if he abandons the members of his group here, his third trial will be ruined. Yompa also knows that if he fails this time, he will have no chance of becoming a subordinate of young Master Chenryu-chan. He kindly says to the short-haired man, Ji, it seems there has been a misunderstanding. Young Master Chenryu-chan personally promised to take them as his subordinates. Why don't they believe it? Ji, Ran asks, so will he give us 2 yellow badges? Ji-un-pa doesn't understand what he's saying. Ji, Ran asks him if he will accept our 19 people as subordinates. At least 2 badges are needed. No, only then does Yompa understand that these guys betrayed for that reason. If he can't persuade them now, the mission will definitely fail. But he can't promise them anything either. He smiles and says, I will propose to young Master Chenryu-chan to grant you all 2 yellow badges. Jaren is stunned by the word propose. Yompa thinks to himself, proposing is fine. It's not a lie. Of course, whether young Master Chenryu-chan agrees has nothing to do with him. Hiran replies that the proposal is indeed attractive, but can he endure it? Yangpa doesn't understand what it means to endure it. I explain what it means to be able to endure me. Yangpa's strength is not weak. He barely dodges this blow. Ijimin takes the opportunity and attacks with his sword. I grip his sword tightly. I crush this sword with force. I look at him coldly. Ijimin breaks out in cold sweat. He can't believe he crushed the wooden sword. Nguida with 70% of his power. Another attack comes from the side. Bakaki kicks him flying. He says coldly, your opponent is me. Ijimin curses him as a despicable guy for ambushing him. He curses inwardly that his ribs have been broken again. The situation is too unfavorable, but it is also difficult to escape. In this situation, the lackeys of both sides also begin to fight. Ji-pa understands that Chan and Anson's group are like monsters. He can't handle them. No matter what, he must break through and escape. Baek Jai firmly suppresses Iji-min. Go-won Jai rubs his fists, ready to join the fray. Eobin tightens his hairband. Yu-suan Hua, who enters combat for the first time, is equally excited. They charge into the crowd. The three have considerable strength. Ji-min is also quickly defeated. Ji-pa sees that there is no chance of escape. Even resisting is futile. It will only cause more damage. Anyway, he can't win. Ji-pa decisively kneels and bows in surrender. I don't understand what he's doing. Ji-pa says humbly, we have lost. Please, as a successor candidate, be lenient. He thinks to himself, no matter how angry you are, the opponent has knelt and bowed in surrender. Surely he cannot continue to attack. Hearing the words, be lenient, I am bewildered. I don't care about these things. Let them go. If you didn't want to fight, you shouldn't have done such despicable things in the first place. Jumpa feigns confusion and terror. I don't know what you're talking about. Besides, the opponent has surrendered. I reprimand him to shut up. I hit his head hard against the ground. Jumpa has his entire face buried in the ground. A moment of suffocation. The people on the opposite side lose all will to fight. Seeing this scene, I pull Junpa's head out. I carefully educate him. If you provoke others, you must pay the price. I haven't even gotten serious yet. The dull sounds of blows continue for who knows how long. Yompa's face is unrecognizable. He curses, damned bastard. Do you think young Master Chenryu-chan will let you go for treating me like this? I sigh as if I'm hearing a joke. At this moment, Chenryu-chan is the most powerful force in the Demonic Path Academy. Yompa just hopes Chen-Yom will be a little scared. I thank him for his advice. Yompa sees that the situation is bad and wants to say something. I don't give him the opportunity. I punch hard. His head falls back again. Yompa immediately faints. If I had really used force, I would have smashed his head. The other lackeys kneel aside like stray dogs. I wonder what happened to that guy. Yi-min. Beiji says he's there because he kept resisting. I sealed his silence acupuncture point and his paralysis acupuncture point. Yi-min curses inwardly. If my ribs weren't broken, I wouldn't be in such a bad state. Biki asks if he should unseal the mutism acupuncture point. I tell him there's no need. I want to hear what this guy has to say. I grab Ji-min's hand. I hold his fingers. I twist his fingers 180 degrees. Then I do the same to the other 9 fingers. This scene makes everyone's blood run cold. Ji-min's pupils dilate with pain, but he can only curse him mentally like a lunatic. I say, Ajahn, you should have suffered like you. No, getting beaten should be even more painful. Those who hit Ajahn immediately start to sweat cold. Ijin curses that he must kill this guy. He must do it. I sneer looking at his punch-marked face. I slap him hard in the face. Emin's face twists immediately. I give orders to the members of my group. Go break the legs of all of Emin's group members. And it is precisely at this point that the story ceases to be merely another demonic path academy with badges, intrigues, and tournaments, and begins to transform into something much larger, the birth of a force capable of altering the very balance of the cult. Chen-Yobin began as a despised and used orphan, a disposable element within a cruel system where only predators survive. He was thrown into an environment where weakness is instantly punished and trust has no value. And then, when all seemed decided, the future intervenes. A nano machine enters his body, and not only strengthens his abilities, but completely rewrites the rules of growth in martial arts. However, the true strength of this story lies not solely in technology or its accelerated progress. The most striking thing is his transformation. From being an impulsive young man who could act moved by anger, he becomes a cold and calculating strategist. He no longer acts without thinking or lets his emotions dominate him. He learns to control every step, every move, and even how others perceive him. The scale of the narrative becomes evident when his techniques begin to surpass even the heavenly demon sword, the ultimate symbol of the cult leader, and a heritage reserved only for the pinnacle of power. At that moment, it ceases to be the story of a talented student humiliating his rivals, and becomes the story of someone capable of challenging the very structure of the cult. What stands out most is the contrast. Outwardly, he remains a student undergoing trials within the academy, but inwardly, he is already a new center of power. People begin to gather around him not just out of fear, but because they perceive stability in him, determination, and leadership ability. This is no longer simply a path to strength. It is the formation of a future ruler. And while others believe they are facing another talented prodigy, they are actually witnessing the rise of someone who could become the very embodiment of the path. Demonic, here the story ascends to another level, because it is not about winning a trial or defeating an isolated enemy, but about displacing the center of power. And the most interesting thing is that he does not rush. He grows in silence, with method and patience, And it is precisely these kinds of figures who end up changing the world.